Trent. Trent,
What's up?
I thought you struck again last night. Halftime, I take a look, and I'm like, oh, boy, this is another Trent special. USF down 15 at the half. Boy, he called this sucker. Okay. Turn away from it. Come back. I'm like, Trent's boys are making a run.
Admittedly, I didn't even watch a single dribble. We got here this morning, and Mark was like, hey, what did USF, how'd they do? And I just looked it up. I'm like, oh, they won by a point.
I saw they were down 8 with about 8 minutes left.
Yeah, it was a 20-point deficit at one point.
Early in the second half, I believe, yeah. Memphis has been winning close games all year, finally got beat.
And I want to use that as the play of the day, but I cannot find shit anywhere.
Well, and unfortunately, I think the game-winning shot was a free throw.
It was, but the game-tying layup with 40 seconds left is a great play, but I can't find a clip that's longer than 5 seconds.
If you've got Kucherov got 3 assists, including his 500th.
Yeah.
Stamkos with a power play goal past Gretzky on the power play goal list. I mean, there's a bunch of players who have scored more, but I'm just
yeah, I'll probably do something Lightning related. I wanted to do USF. I just can't find anything.
If you find that Stamkos goal, Michigan probably goes off.
Okay. Okay.
It's a terrible goal. Deflected off another. It's a slap shot that deflected off a player in the slot. He should be doing games with Romo.
Listen, this is going to be a mute. Mahomes and Josh Allen on the same field together. I think the mute button's going to come in handy.
Oh, see, it doesn't even bother me. It really doesn't.
I actually like Romo. I know a lot of people can't stand him. I like him. I like his energy.
He's got to have energy because he doesn't prepare for the broadcast.
I was going to say.
Okay. Well, that's fair. See, from the, you guys who do play-by-play, I can understand that. Okay, we got 2 minutes. Poll question. What do we want to do?
Which team is most likely to be upset? Take the Kansas City Buffalo game out. Put the other 3 big spreads on there. Who has more pressure on him this week? Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, which quarterback's under the most pressure? Lamar or Josh Allen?
Will the Lightning make the playoffs?
Too early for that.
I'm being 100% facetious. But I thought I had 2 pretty good questions and got nothing out of either of you there.
No, I'm eating. I mean, I like them both, actually, but I can't talk
brown sugar cinnamon Pop-Tart. Really, no sound on 104.3. Well, what are you gonna do?
Where are you gonna go?
Actually, if that's the case, you know what? Let me know that when the show starts, and we can text Tom at 6 a.m.
Yep. You already called him at 5:45 on Monday. Yeah, no, I know. I'm
comes with the job.
I'm just
listen. If they'd make it easy on us, but they have no interest in doing that. So F them.
Which one are we doing? We got 30 seconds. We don't have to decide right now. But...
I was going to say, man, you're putting a lot of pressure on us. Lighten up, Francis. I always go with the best chance of an upset, but
I like that upset alert. We can do a whole segment.
I like that better.
All right.
Okay, here we go.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Top of the morning to you. There are not many of these left, but this is a Football Friday. Football
Ball Friday.
How the heck are you? Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. How you holding up as we get to the end of the week?
I'm doing great. It's been a good week. Been a fun week. Fired up for the football this weekend.
It's my favorite football weekend of the year.
I'm trying to keep a positive attitude. As I've mentioned, I am playing in a golf tournament tomorrow morning, and it's going to be chilly in the morning.
Yes, it will. No question
first
about
number is going to be a 4. I don't normally, if this wasn't a tournament, I would not be playing. So I'm trying to keep the positive attitude, and I do know I will be drinking Bloody Marys very early tomorrow morning.
When is the last time you have golfed in which the first digit on the temperature gauge was a 4?
There was a tournament that I played in 4 or 5 years ago where it was similar, where it was just cold,
Right.
windy, and you've got no choice.
And did you let everybody know I would not be here except I was previously committed to be here?
You don't have to, because everybody's in the same boat.
Okay.
I mean, I'm one of the younger guys there, David. They're all soft by this point. They don't like playing in the cold. The reason we're in Florida.
And by cold, we mean south of 60. So
Yeah,
the fact that it's south of 50, right. Gotcha. But yeah, northern half of the state, just so you know, all weekend, it'll be in the mid 40s for highs, and lows will be in the upper 20s. Yes, that's the weekend. All right. Once you get to I don't know, the Villages, Ocala, North. Yeah. So I don't know what
visit. Hotel rooms available in Southwest Florida.
If you classify golf at 48 as chilly, it may be a little more than that. A few hundred miles to your north.
No doubt there.
But it's football weather, right?
It is football weather.
Yeah. Let's suck it up. Come on now. It's divisional playoff weekend.
Everybody's still trying to figure out whether or not Tampa's going to be able to play in the elements.
Right. Just,
the best part of that whole thing was Todd Bowles doubled down by saying, they play in a dome. And he's like, well, the only time we're going to be outside is walking from the bus to the stadium. I mean, he went that far to be snarky. You guys would be proud.
I don't think he was being snarky.
No, I think he was trying as best he could to be nice.
Yes.
I really do. That is the want to get away moment of the year.
So what they think happened is that, sports departments have been absolutely gutted, and they send news people to sports pressers, and they think it was a news person that asked the question.
Good research.
Want to get away? Right. Well, you assume, it's going to Detroit. That's cold. I got my question. I know what I'm going to ask. If I can get called on, I know what I'm going to ask.
Yeah, I've worked for an NBC affiliate. We just had a really cold game on Peacock.
Right. So, but the Tampa Bay Bucks are still playing this weekend. That in and of itself is fantastic. It's the third time in 4 years the Bucks are playing this weekend. Hey, we can't take that for granted. This is the Tampa Bay Bucks after all.
David, you really can't take it for granted for any NFL franchise. You really can't. And I know teams go on runs, and that Kansas City's obviously been there multiple years in a row, but 4 years in a row for it. I got Trent over here decked out in Lions gear from head to toe. You think he wouldn't take 4 years in a row, getting to the second round 3 years out of the 4?
Oh my goodness. I don't know if he could handle it. Trent, are you strong enough physically and emotionally to be able to handle if this is the beginning of a 4-year Lions run where they make it to the divisional playoffs 3 of the next 4?
The funny thing is I have no idea, because I have nothing close to this in my entire life.
No, you really don't.
I have nothing close. They made the playoffs twice in 5 years, and that's about it. That's
when you were younger, I don't know if you were a Michigan State guy your whole life. D'Antonio had a run where they were good, but I don't know. I mean, you were pretty young. So you haven't had a lot of
Yeah.
success with your sports teams.
Not
period.
a whole lot. I rely on Izzo heavily, and even then,
And he lets you down once he gets to the Final Four.
I got a lot of Final Fours.
Well, that's kind of a similar feeling, right?
It is.
Yeah, it is. It is. Yes.
So it's a winner-winner game in Detroit. I mean, two fan bases who will just be absolutely overjoyed if their team can move on to the next round. Unexpected in both situations. Meanwhile, we got some games, Mark, in which it's we have to win. San Francisco, Baltimore, Buffalo. Yeah, we have to win. Period.
Absolutely. And San Francisco, of the three, is the afterthought because we're just assuming they're going to move on.
Well, I will say they do own the Packers in the playoffs. I mean, Green Bay, when you go back to the 90s, Favre and Holmgren got the upper hand more often than not on Steve Young and the Niners. But lately, whoo-wee. I mean, you go back even to Harbaugh. I mean, the last 12 years, when San Francisco and Green Bay meet in the playoffs, the Niners win. Remember, 2 years ago, Niners went in, that was Green Bay's year. The Brady and company had beaten them in the 2020 season in the NFC title game. They come back the next year. They're the 1 seed. They're the only one to get the bye, and they are waiting for a Niners team that doesn't have a lot of explosiveness. And San Fran goes in there and beats them at Lambeau. Turned out to be Aaron Rodgers and the Pack's last playoff game together. And now the situation, Mark, is exactly flipped. Completely flipped 2 years later. It's a Saturday night game and everything.
The young Packer team with Jordan Love playing brilliant football here the last 7-8 weeks. He has been dynamic. He really has. The numbers are staggering.
After getting outplayed by Tommy Cutlets. Seriously. I mean, he did not look good. They fell to 6-8. They had needed to win their last 3, and they needed a little bit of help. And now look at them. They've won 4 in a row. They don't look as if they're ever going to punt again. Unreal.
But that's not nearly the pressure that's being faced by Lamar in Baltimore and Josh in Buffalo. Because we all know about Baltimore's playoff troubles, to say the very least.
Lamar 1-3 in the playoffs. The only other time in franchise history they were the 1 seed, had the bye, lost at home to Ryan Tannehill, Derrick Henry, and the Tennessee Titans. Turned it over a half a dozen times. And that was his MVP year. What's Lamar going to win later this month?
The MVP, David. And what's coming in but a young C.J. Stroud and a team that is playing with nothing. I mean, no pressure.
Beyond house money. They've got so much money. They've paid off everybody's house. They've got college stored away, and they're still going, what are we going to do with all this money? I don't know. Let's take it to Baltimore. See how far we can go with it there. And Mark, we are going to get something on Sunday that we have never had before. Never. Patrick Mahomes on the road in the playoffs. Don't give me the Super Bowl in Tampa. Please. It was COVID. There were 18,000 people in the place. And it was a corporate crowd at that. There were 174 Bucs fans in the stadium. This is a road game.
This is a road game.
Right.
And I don't know who has more, who feels like they have more pressure on them right now. Josh Allen or the Buffalo fan base? The answer is Josh Allen. But if you talk to a Bills fan, they're panicking right now. They have lived such a life this football season.
But they've won 6 in a row. And they feel as if they have Superman. Right now, they feel like we have the best player in the league. I know the guy in Baltimore is going to win the honor, and I know the guy that we're facing Sunday has won the honor and has proven over the last 5 years he's the best player in the league. But today, we have Jordan. We have Trout. We have Ohtani. Today.
That's right up until the point when he throws his first interception of the game. Because if that happens, then they're not saying that. Then they're saying, Josh.
Or he tries to hurdle somebody and fumbles, or
Right.
he can get reckless.
No doubt. But you live with them, you die with them.
No, I know. And
As
right now they're
as
at the
they should.
highest of highs, and they
Yep.
should be.
And
But they're scared. You know it, David. You have a lot of Bills friends.
Yep.
They're
not scared. They're not scared. Not on the. It's below the surface. That's the iceberg. Above the surface. Oh no. Nobody's beating us. We're on a roll. Josh Allen. We're going to destroy everything in our path. Below the surface. Oh God, it's Mahomes. Oh no, not again. Not in the playoffs. We don't beat them in the playoffs. We beat them in the regular season. Oh, God. Our defense is walking wounded. We've got like half a defense left against Mahomes.
And they found their offense last week. For the first time all year, they found a wide receiver.
And he caught the ball. What the hell are the Chiefs wide receivers doing catching the ball? There was an ordinance passed in 2023. You guys are not to catch the ball this year. Miller and Moulton. It's a Football Friday. Why don't you join us here on the Florida Sports Network?
Get set for the thrill of a lifetime with Mud Wheelers Gone Wild at Redneck Mud Park. January 19th through 21st. 3 full days of mud, trails, camping, and more. All for ATVs and side-by-sides only. Friday night is movie night. Ride up and relax. Compete for cash, prizes, and more. With events like our new ATV and side-by-side bounty obstacle challenge, side-by-side and barrel races, and scavenger hunt. Don't miss this family-friendly ATV and side-by-side only event at Redneck Mud Park. January 19th through 21st. Visit redneckmudpark.com for discount tickets and details.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Jason and Todd with the Diamond District are excited to invite you to their annual Winter Wedding Band Expo. Saturday, January 20th and Sunday the 21st. Jason and Todd with the Diamond District welcome many top wedding band designers to their 6,000 square foot diamond superstore, including M-Fit, My Caroline, Crown Ring, A Jaffe, and more. You'll choose from the largest selection of wedding bands in Southwest Florida and receive 20% off designer retail prices. This is the best time of year to buy your wedding band with the lowest prices and largest selection from America's top bridal designers. Whether your wedding date has been set or you're still deciding, Saturday, January 20th and Sunday the 21st is the perfect time for you to head to the Diamond District and choose your wedding bands. Jason and Todd want to meet you personally and share with you the largest selection of wedding bands and offer you 20% off retail prices during their Winter Wedding Band Expo.
At the Diamond District.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Yeah, Trent, I don't know if it matters, because they're only going to get billed for.
Yeah, they got a little extra out of the deal.
You will not hear the Mud Park ad again.
Well,
It is gone.
all right.
Pretty simple fix, but yes, it's done. Thank you for letting
But
me.
if it causes problems to kill it, then just leave it. But just
No, David. It's just drag and drop. It's easy stuff.
okay. Maybe for you, Trent, but I can mess up an entire screen with a drag and a drop. I dragged and dropped the other day. Needed to call for help.
Yeah, RC, hard to remember because it was before Mahomes won a Super Bowl, but 2018 playoffs, Brady and the Pats beat Mahomes in the AFC Championship game. That was before the overtime rules were what they are. So I believe the Pats got the ball. Chiefs never touched it in OT.
Correct.
That was my freshman year of college. I had to get on a bus. I forget where I was going. But I got off the bus at the bus station. I checked the score, and the Pats had won. And I was not happy. So I wasn't rooting for them. And go Raiders, yes, they will be making their picks, I assume. Right, guys?
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
Wait, we have to make picks? Please, I did some research and everything.
How many football games do we have left, David?
Exactly 7.
7.
4 of them this weekend.
Ever since getting this job, I've kind of jokingly been looking forward to after football season because I just think it'll be more fun. Not more fun, but you got to dig a little more to get content.
You got to work.
But right. But I'm sure with you guys, it's probably just
it's work.
Still football, which is great.
Still a lot of football.
Yeah. That's how it should be.
Oh God. Yeah, jeez. That's filthy.
What's that?
Edwards passed to himself last night for the T-Wolves. He kind of got caught, picked up his dribble 17 feet from the basket. So he slips under the defender, throws the ball off the glass from 17 feet, catches it about 8 feet from the basket and slams it home. Jeez.
Adam, I love Brunel. Love him. Give him a lot of credit for it. Him and Ben Johnson have revitalized Jared Goff. Okay, here we go.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
"21 minutes past the hour, top of the morning to you. Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. Pat Kirwan will join us at the top of our 8 o'clock hour. A lot of football to talk about. Do we have a poll question?
We do. I'm typing it as we speak, David.
What is it?
Which of these underdogs do you have the best shot to win this weekend? And we will list everybody but Kansas City.
Yeah, I mean, it's 3-point dog. I mean, besides, it's tough to think of the Chiefs as an underdog, right?
Right.
By the way, Mike Florio hinting that Andy Reid may retire. Now, Mike Florio's wrong a lot, but just
He
Mike
likes
Florio,
to hint.
Yeah, he said it out loud anyway. So we'll see, obviously. But so which of the dogs? So what we got? Green Bay 9.5, Houston 9.5, Tampa 6.5.
Correct.
Which of the dogs do you give the best shot? By spread, it would be Tampa Bay. For what it's worth, gentlemen, it has been 5 years since all 4 home teams won in this round.
All right. That's the type of research I was looking for. I knew you'd have it for us. I'm being serious. I'm not even being sarcastic, because I look at this weekend and I see chalk. And
Right.
It doesn't work out that way typically.
Right. And so just to refresh your memory, like just last year at this time, the first game was Jacksonville and Kansas City. Jags gave them a game. KC won by a touchdown. They didn't cover, but they won. Eagles blew out the Giants. Early game Sunday, Bengals went in and knocked off the Bills. And then a slugfest tied going to the fourth quarter. Niners beat the Cowboys by a touchdown. So home teams went 3-1, the Bengals being the road team to win. But, we had 2 close games, and then we had an upset. So 3 of the 4 games were like, okay, compelling. Giants-Eagles was never compelling. The year before that, Mark, was maybe the greatest divisional round the NFL's ever had. And I mean ever. First off, road teams went 3-1. And only the Chiefs' miraculous 13 seconds comeback to force overtime and win. That was the only home team that won. And Mark, seemingly every single game, in fact, I believe every single game was decided on the final play of the game. Bengals kicked a field goal to beat the Titans. I think it was like 51 yards. Niners with a walk-off field goal to stun the Packers at Lambeau. The Rams had the walk-off field goal against Brady and the Bucks after the ill-fated 0 blitz against Cooper Kupp and Stafford, and they made him pay with a 50-yard completion with just seconds left in the game. What are you doing 0 blitzing? And then Kansas City, in overtime, Mahomes found Kelsey. So all 4 divisional playoff games ended on the final play of the game, and the road team won 3 of them. And then 2 years before that, home teams went 3-1. 3 years ago, the road team to win, Brady and the Bucks against Breeze and the Saints, Drew's final game in New Orleans. In 2019, the road team to win, the Titans upset of the top-seeded Ravens that we talked about. Lamar and all those turnovers, 2 fourth-down stops on 4th and short. So those are the last 4 playoff years. Road teams, for what it's worth, are 6-10. But a road team has won a game each of the last 4 years in the divisional round.
So the question then becomes, which road team will win this weekend? Kansas City's the easy choice because the spread's the lowest.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people liking Houston because of Baltimore's lack of success in the postseason.
Yeah, I'm not so sure about a dome team playing in 20-degree weather if I'm going to be high on the Texans tomorrow. I'm just saying. You know, think about it. The must-win game in Indianapolis was in what? The playoff game was in what? I mean, the Texans are a dome team.
Right. No. David, I think Baltimore wins. I am just merely saying, with the pressure that's on Lamar, with their lack of playoff success, and hey, maybe it's Tampa. Maybe we're overlooking the game that the upset's coming right here, that Tampa's going to go up to Detroit and take care of the Lions.
So, poll question, you know, which road team you give the best shot of the upset? But we've had 4 straight years where a road team wins in the divisional round. You have to go back to the 2018 season. And that was the year that both road teams won the conference championship games. That's the year New England went into KC and won in overtime. And the Rams, thanks to maybe the worst call we've ever seen, the non-pass interference call against the Saints, went into New Orleans and won in overtime. But all 4 home teams won in the divisional round that year. Mark, for what it's worth, I got the home teams going 4-0.
I have thought chalk all week long. I have been trying to talk myself out of one of these games.
But you know what the problem is? You usually end up picking the wrong game.
Bingo.
Now, I'm not laying the points in all 4, but I am straight up picking all 4 home teams.
Big numbers with the 1 seeds, nearly 10 points in each game.
Yep. That's Saturday. Saturday is can the upstarts give the big boys a game? And then Sunday is, well, Baker and the boys in Moulton. And then, folks, get ready. Get ready. Whether or not you want to have a drinking game, a Romo drinking game, whether or not you just want to plan on using the mute button because it'll be too insufferable.
Jim!
I mean, and that's just a normal game. I mean, this is Romo with both Mahomes and Allen.
He actually knows who both the quarterbacks are.
I mean, he doesn't know who many of the other players are, but he knows Mahomes and Allen, and that's all he'll talk about. And he'll have Travis Kelce married again. He'll marry off Kelce.
Well, that's coming.
Right. Well, he's done it twice already.
I mean, they're going to get engaged this summer.
No, they're already married. Just listen to Romo.
Tampa Bay opened as a 4.5-point dog. That's
Correct.
6.5 now.
Uh-huh.
Been bet up 2 full points.
Yeah, yeah. It was bet up 1.5 like in 8
Right off.
hours.
Exactly.
Right. Yep.
That's the one that's moved the most. Everything else moves about a 0.5 point. The Lions has moved 2 over the Bucks.
Well, in the other games, the Saturday games have had wild fluctuations to them, but they're back to where they were. So maybe you got it during one of the fluctuations, but they opened at 9.5 and 10, and they're both at 9.5 right now.
But we're asking you, which of the underdogs do you have the best shot to win this weekend out of Tampa Bay, Green Bay, and Houston? Go to that Mark Miller, the David Moulton, or FL Sports Network on Twitter, or FloridaSportsNetwork.com to vote. The starting 5 is next. Thanks for listening on this Football Friday to Miller and Moulton.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
20 years ago, Jason and I had the idea for a jewelry store like no other, with a vast selection of certified diamonds priced 8 to 12% over cost. A team of individuals who are educated, driven, and believe in cultivating relationships.
Today, we have become one of the largest independent jewelry stores in the country. Todd and I love what we do and are in the store nearly every day, along with our GIA gemologists, master jewelers, custom designers, and non-commissioned diamond consultants, all of which we consider family.
As direct diamond importers, we travel the world, forging relationships and sourcing diamonds. What we love most about our business is that we can call Southwest Florida our home.
If selection, value, and comfort are important to you, give the Diamond District an opportunity. You won't find a better diamond buying experience. Todd and I look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung has successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida for over 30 years. As a former prosecutor, the information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, a criminal matter, or involved in an auto accident, call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung. I'm a local attorney with local knowledge to assist you through the process. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Offices in Fort.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Have seen it, Wes, have not talked about it.
Yeah, Ryan, that's what I'm thinking too. It just feels like the Chiefs will beat the Bills, the Texans will somehow beat the Ravens, and we will find ourselves back at Arrowhead for the AFC Championship game somehow, some way. I don't think that's going to happen. I just feel like, the feeling. Here we go.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network.
22 minutes before the hour. Pat Kirwan will join us at the top of the 8 o'clock hour. Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network. FloridaSportsNetwork.com. A lot of little things went on yesterday in the sports world, and a huge win by a team in the Sunshine State. We'll get to it all next. It's time for
The Starting Five. 5 stories you need to know. It's the Starting Five on Miller and Moulton. Here's number 1.
number 1, the NFL. And we begin with the NFL because research shows that you guys care about it a lot. Mike Tomlin, Mark, says, quote, the fire has intensified, unquote, within him. And he expects an extension to be done with the Steelers. And he also expects Kenny Pickett to be back as the starter, but with a veteran challenger. Don't they already have that? Isn't that Mason Rudolph? Or are they hoping to do better than that? Because if they do much better than Mason Rudolph, I would think he would be the starter. Am I missing something?
Not to me.
Am I reading between the lines too closely?
Joe Flacco, AFC North roulette.
It's not the worst idea, I gotta be honest. If you're Mason Rudolph, by the way, if they bring in anybody else to challenge Kenny Pickett, don't you go sign elsewhere?
You couldn't leave fast enough if they bring someone else in if you're Mason Rudolph.
And if you're half the teams in the league, don't you look at Mason Rudolph and go, well, that's an upgrade in our backup quarterback situation, right?
What we saw this year was.
Yeah. So anyway, we'll see if the Steelers feel the same way towards Mike Tomlin that apparently Mike Tomlin feels about the Steelers. Ravens tight end Mark Andrews. Remember him? He hurt his ankle back on November 16th. Originally, he's out for the year. Then it was, well, we're pretty good. We could be playing for a while. Outside chance he can return in the playoffs. Yeah, he's been practicing all week.
He was a full participant in practice yesterday.
So he's listed as questionable. I don't know. Practice 3 days in a row this time of year. It seemed like a go to me. So the Ravens may have Mark Andrews. They're not going to have starting corner Marlon Humphrey. He's out. Ronald Darby will start in his place. Bears interviewed Cliff Kingsbury to be their offensive coordinator. Now, see, here's where it gets interesting. Mark, where did Kingsbury spend this past year?
USC.
Correct. Who's the quarterback at USC?
Caleb Williams.
Who has the number 1 pick of the draft?
That'd be the Bears.
And who may they be selecting?
Well, I don't think there's a maybe about it. They're going to be selecting Caleb Williams.
So we're not the smartest show in the country, but we're connecting some dots. And they're not dipping dots. There are a lot of people around the country who had to keep refreshing their computer screens, their phones. They maybe even logged off and logged back on because they couldn't believe what I'm about to read out loud. Ohio State hired Bill O'Brien to be their offensive coordinator. I actually have no problems with it, but a lot of people apparently do. I mean, do we forget the job he did at Alabama? You know, Mac Jones, Bryce Young. I don't know. Seemed like a pretty good job to me. Now, this past year, he was in New England trying to help Mac Jones in that offense. Well, hell, they had worse personnel than what he was working with at Alabama.
And it's not close.
And he had worse personnel than what he's going to work with next year at Ohio State. But
he gets to walk in and go, this is what a wide receiver room looks like.
Right, man. But that means Ryan Day giving up play calling. Mike McDaniel, take note. Two other college football notes. Did you see the story about Canes tight end Cam McCormick? Mark, he's 25, and he was granted a 9th year of eligibility.
Come on.
He originally signed with Mario Cristobal and Oregon in 2016. He had a redshirt year, a COVID year, and he missed major parts of 4 years due to injury.
That's ridiculous. I don't care. I feel badly for him that he missed all that time, but there is a certain point when if you're in college for 9 years and you're not a doctor, I have a problem.
No truth that it's Dr. Cam McCormick. He's just listed as Cam McCormick. And he will come back for his 9th, and as he says, final year. This is my final ride, he said. Really, you're 25. I mean, pretty soon Chris Weinke's going to say you're old. I mean, take it easy, buddy. The interim AD at Iowa, Beth Getz, was promoted to full-time AD. She had the job since last May. So, boy, they took their sweet old time. NBA, Jalen Brunson with 41. Knicks held off Washington. Did you catch Charles Barkley's promotion of the Bulls and the Raptors on TNT last night? Remember when we were doing the, hey, TNT doubleheader? Wait a minute. Are they really showing the Bulls and the Raptors? Well, it's one thing for Miller and Moulton to say it. It's another thing for Charles Barkley in the pregame to go, hey, guys, I know we got the Bulls and the Raptors, but could you please keep watching? We'll be back at halftime. Bulls won by 6. The Jazz saw their 6-game winning streak snapped by Oklahoma City, 134-129. The T-Wolves reached the halfway point of the season mark at 30-11. They beat Memphis by 15. And look out for them Pacers. They went to Sacramento, beat the Kings by 5. College hoops. Trent Bally called it. Now, he didn't watch it, mind you, but he called it. Down 15 at the half. Down 20 early second half. The Bulls of South Florida come storming back. Hit a free throw in the final seconds. And upset 10th-ranked Memphis in Memphis, 74-73. First win against the top 10 team in 14 years.
What a win. To do that on the road, that's impressive, David.
New coach came over from Kennesaw. All right, they look like a completely different program. I mean, Brian Gregory did his best to run that sucker into the ground, as Brian Gregory was fond of doing everywhere. Just because you're a friend of Tom Izzo doesn't mean you should be hired, okay? I mean, we love Izzo, but that doesn't mean all his friends should get jobs. FAU was down 11 at the half. They came storming back with Jimmy Butler in the house. Place went crazy when Jimmy Butler walked in, sat down in the front row. FAU over Wichita State, 86-77. Hey, this just in. Jawan Howard's basketball program has gone off the rails. Michigan 7-11. They lost at home to Illinois by 15. And speaking of Izzo, Sparty 10 better than the Gophers in East Lansing, 76-66. In-state, Jacksonville rallied from a double-digit deficit at the half to beat Queens. North Florida beat Kennesaw State by 9. FIU lost at Liberty by 9. Women's action, couple of top 20 upsets. Miami knocked off fourth-ranked NC State in Coral Gables by 14. Good to see this.
Good to see one of the Miami teams get a win.
At home, yeah. Meanwhile, Florida State had a double-digit lead in the third quarter against Syracuse and lost 79-73. FGCU FIU winners in state last night. Stetson, a loser. NHL, Kucherov with 3 assists. He's got now 500 in his career. That seems like a lot, Mark. Stamkos with a power play goal. He passed Gretzky on the all-time power play goal list. Anytime you pass Wayne Gretzky, even if it's walking down the street, that's impressive. Lightning 7-3 over Minnesota. Boston all over Colorado 5-2. They made up that game in Buffalo, and the Sabres shut out the Blackhawks 3-0. And Vegas whooped up on the Rangers, who just started a 4-game West Coast trip, 5-1 Golden Knights. Australian Open. You know, I probably should have checked this before I started. All right, because he was up 2 sets in a break. Let's see. Did Djokovic hold on to win that match? Yes, he did. Djokovic in straight sets, 3-3 and a tiebreak. He advances to the 4th round. The 8th seed, Rune, was upset. The 3rd seed, Medvedev, and 9th seed, Harkis, both needed 5 sets to advance. Women's action, the 3rd seed, Rybakina, lost, Mark, 22-20 was the 3rd set tiebreak. See, they play that 10-point tiebreak in Australia. You get to the 3rd set,
Right.
1-10, margin of 2, 22-20. PGA Tour. I don't want to say the course at La Quinta is easy or anything, but 84-year-old Zach Johnson's your co-leader at 10 under. Wasn't he just Ryder Cup captain?
Yes, he was.
Alex Noren's tied with him, which is more impressive that Zach Johnson, who's not 84, take it easy, he had 6 birdies in a row, shot 29 on the front. That's pretty good.
That's really good.
Meanwhile, Noren had a 10-hole stretch, holes 4 through 13, where he had 8 birdies and an eagle. He doubled 17 to shoot 62. Damn. LPGA Tour, their season's underway in Orlando, the Tournament of Champions. Aoka Furu from Japan has a 2-shot lead at 7 under par. And at 10 minutes before the hour, that was
the starting 5 every weekday morning at this time on Miller and Moulton.
So there you go.
Lightning weren't a game last night. That was 4-3 going to the 3rd, and they blew them out.
Yeah.
I mean, hockey was weird last night. Same way Boston and Colorado, 3-2 going to the 3rd. Boston dominates the 3rd period and wins. Some pretty good hockey last night. You didn't mention it. I watched a little bit of Edmonton. They came from behind down 2-0. That's 12 in a row. It's a record for that franchise.
Right. We said it when they got to 11 in a
Right.
row, and it was a record. We're like, they've played good hockey there before.
For a while.
Yeah, I mean, the whole 80s thing, Gretzky, Messier, Curry, Coffey, Fuhrer. I mean, we could just keep rattling off Hall of Famers. And they've never done what this Edmonton team has done. And they fired their coach 6 weeks ago. Man, was he holding them back.
Obviously.
Man.
Because they've had a couple unbeaten streaks in that run. I mean, they've gone from one of the worst teams in the league to one of the best teams since they fired the coach.
Right. They promoted some guy who was in the AHL in Hartford, for goodness sakes. They said, hey, you want to coach this team? He's like, I just have one question. Connor McDavid's still on the team? Well, yeah, sure. I'll take the job.
This just in. He's really good.
Yeah, he really is.
That league is, they run their campaign that the golden age is now. They're on to something. There's never been this kind of skill in that league.
I know.
Never
I do wish there was more hitting in the regular season, though. It's like playing golf at La Quinta most nights in the NHL. It really is. I mean, you can count the number of checks in a game on two hands.
Well, and you're right. That's why the Bedard thing was such a big deal, because it was a clean hit.
Right.
And everybody freaked out because a player got hit in the regular season. Someone had the audacity to hit a star player who put his head down going across the middle of the ice.
Right. He just thought I could go 1-on-3 down the middle of the ice because, well, it's the NHL in 2023-24. And Brendan Smith said, yeah, that's not how it works, dude.
Say hello to my shoulder.
Right. Say hello to my little friend.
So there it is, our midseason hockey update for you. Now back to football on a Football Friday.
Back to regularly scheduled programming already in progress. But a huge win for South Florida. Hey, imagine if in 1 year they have a football and a basketball program all at the same time. That'd be pretty impressive. The AD kind of like, huh? Do I deserve a little credit? Look who I hired, huh? Huh? Anybody out there looking for an AD? Oh, no, I didn't say that out loud, did I?
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
The waterways of Naples are a beauty to behold, and the Bayfront Inn has multiple ways for guests to enjoy the water and have some fun. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn. Something for everyone. On 5th Avenue in Naples.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network. Oh, I panicked too early. It's not going to be cold tomorrow morning. It's going to be cold tomorrow night.
What's the temp tomorrow
Be
morning?
in the 50s, high 50s, low stuff.
Oh,
I mean,
that's nothing.
Nothing.
You can do that.
I mean, I'm going to have pants on and just layers. And
Right, but you won't be uncomfortable.
I was actually hoping for the 40s. Playing against two old guys, I thought I might be able to take
might
advantage
give
of
you
in the
an
cold
edge.
weather. I would have tell them to right in the first tee. I was hoping really cold weather. I wanted every advantage against you old effers.
Yeah. I would too. Why not?
We can talk NBA, DC. There's nothing against talking the NBA. We just can't talk about a certain team.
There's a certain team that must not be talked
Is
about.
that yours? Is that
Yeah. It's got T-Bale on the back. That was my nickname in high school.
all right?
I've had this jersey for a long time. Oh. I heard apparently the Lions are going to go back to the Barry Sanders era jerseys starting next year. That's
Really?
the rumor. That's the rumor.
Did you
Which I'm fired
sell
up
your tickets
about.
yet?
Not yet, but I'm going to lower the price today, and I'm going to make sure they go. I've got a couple buddies who want to buy them, too. They just don't want to pay me what they're worth because we're all young and broke.
At Estero Country Club, I am a spring chicken, Grizz. Don't kid yourself. You walk into a golf club around here under the age of 55, you're a spring chicken.
Wasn't expecting you to catch any strays about your
It's all right.
age in the chat room.
By the way, Spitz, that match took place like hours ago that you're talking about.
Also, Paul, I did not back up the truck because I do not have anything in my Hard Rock account. But I would have, and I also would have bet the Illini -2.5 last night. That was a preposterous line. And I'm not just saying that because I hate Michigan. Michigan is not good. Illinois is good.
I was surprised at that line too.
I know it was on the road, but like, come on.
I can loan you money, I mean,
there's a VIG, but
there's a VIG, but we could put some money in the Hard
as soon
Rock.
as he gets those tickets sold, there'll be money going in that account.
Oh, yeah. A whole $10. A whole unit.
Yeah, that's right. We haven't talked about that. What are we doing with the 4 tickets?
There's only 2. There's only 2 available. My brother's 2. He's going with my dad.
Okay.
My 2 are on the market.
So do you get to keep the money then?
Yeah.
Whew. Well, you're going to be loaded.
By my standards, yes.
He can pay rent.
I mean,
for a couple months.
Shouldn't you? I mean, you should be able to get 1,000 a ticket, shouldn't you?
No,
not that much, but I mean that's the average price for the whole stadium. But up in my section, you're looking at like 600 a piece. So, after they get their fees and everything,
Boy, and then so you'll put 1,000 in your account, though, won't you?
Yeah. By my standards, I will be loaded. Yes.
What? Think of all the betting we're going to do. $3 on Illinois, $2 on South Florida. I mean, might be able to get you through March Madness at this rate.
Oh my goodness. It's getting closer. Can't wait. Okay, here we go.
I'm not golfing when it's below 65.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Hour 2 of Miller and Moulton on this Football Friday.
Football Friday.
Don't have many of these left. In fact, we got 7 games left, and 4 of them are this weekend. So tell everybody tough, not interested. I'm watching football.
That's sometimes tougher to do.
Really?
It is. Because and it's not even next weekend. The daughter's in a championship weekend. The daughter's in a soccer tournament. And I told my wife that I'm probably, because my wife's got something to do Sunday. She and my mom are going to a play or something. And there's a chance that my daughter could play Sunday afternoon. And I told my wife yesterday, I said, because there's a neighbor girl that plays on the same team. And I said, yeah, I'm probably going to have the neighbors take Maddie to the game on Sunday if we make the championship. My wife looked at me like I was crazy. And I said, you know the NFC and AFC championship games. She said, it's your daughter's soccer game. I said, see them all the time.
Let me ask you guys this. Miller and Moulton, do you guys get any sort of pass from the spouse to watch sports because it's your job?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. You should. I just was wondering if you get that pass or not.
But right up until it was the daughter's soccer game, I've always had that. I mean, literally, my wife at night, when we finally talk to one another, she goes, so what do you have to watch tonight? And usually it's, nothing, but I'm going to watch a little bit of this or a little bit of that. When I'm putting Edmonton and Seattle on, she does get a little,
Yeah. I can understand that. I mean, you're not putting your daughter to the side for the Bills-Chargers regular season game on Peacock, okay?
Correct.
I mean, this is you saying, one of the 2 conference championship games is on at like 3. I can't be watching 9-year-old soccer, okay? Even if I have an emotional investment in one of the players. Okay, because trust me, the investment's not that big in the match. The player, yes. The match, not so much.
So I'm already, I don't want to say it, but I'm probably pulling for an early Sunday morning loss in game 3.
Totally. In fact, I think you have to tell her, listen, honey, is there something she's been wanting that you haven't given her? Is there something Santa did not come through with that you were like holding off because her birthday's in early May, that, you were negotiating with Santa and you're like, listen, don't get her this because we got to get her something 4 months later. And which you can now just bribe her and say, listen, if you can throw the semifinal match, I'd really appreciate it. And here's what's in it for you. And in fact, I can even bet on it with the Hard Rock app, but I'm kidding.
Wow. Now we're talking.
Right.
Now we're into something.
So yes, Trent, it is one of the luxuries of doing this for a living. And there are a lot of luxuries. Okay. Now you don't make any money. Okay. But you do, the perks are wonderful. You get to go, well, I got to watch the game. I talk sports where I got to talk about this.
And we get done with work early. Those are the perks.
Right. And Trent, because in this day and age, there's no technology. It's not like you can somehow, attend to your child's affairs and then watch the game after the fact. Okay. Or there's not many media sources to find out everything that went on during the game.
Oh, no. You have to watch it yourself.
You have to watch every second of it. Yes. Mm-hmm.
When there's only 7 left, you do.
Well, I think you do. Yes. I think you do. Yes. I agree. And that's my point to this weekend. We have 7 left. There's 4 of them this weekend. All right. Somebody wants to go, hey, how about we go out Saturday night? Yeah. How about no? How about we go out next Saturday night? There's no football next Saturday. Next Saturday night. No, I'm making it happen with the Packers and the Niners. That's what I'm doing.
9.5, the number in that one. 9.5, the number in Houston, Baltimore.
All right, here's a gut one. Of the 2, Texans, Packers, which one you give more of a puncher's chance to? For me, it's the Packers.
Why?
Don't know, to be honest with you, but because Green Bay has matched up horribly with San Francisco. But that's actually what I'm counting on here. I'm counting on LaFleur, who's gotten beat in the playoffs by the Packers a couple times. I'm counting on Matt LaFleur and Green Bay to have figured some things out about San Francisco. The one thing that does concern me, San Francisco plays a lot of zone. Jordan Love's numbers against the zone are inferior compared to what they are against man. So what San Francisco does in their base gives Green Bay the most trouble. So it is not a good quote unquote matchup. Green Bay's going, this new Jordan Love, second half of the season, last month, Jordan Love is going to have to play differently than has previously because they were not good against zone, and San Francisco plays a lot of it.
David, I really think both ones win, and I think are both going to cover. But if I were to take one, I would take Houston.
Okay.
They played week one. What was it? 25-9 was the score.
Yeah, but actually Baltimore was not as impressive as the final score. They struggled in that game.
And we're dealing with the rookie quarterback playing game one. I mean, so much has changed from that point. The line for Houston was a little banged up earlier in the season. And maybe it's just the lack of trust I have in Baltimore in the postseason that if anything were to happen, I just don't. I think Moulton and Lamar, they've gotten over that hurdle of things that limited them offensively. I think what they can do throwing the ball now, the way he extends plays, I just don't. But I'll give Houston the better chance because of Baltimore.
And in a way, that's part of our poll question. Our poll question today is, which underdog do you give the best shot? Now, we didn't put Kansas City in the mix because, it's a 3-point dog, and most of you would vote Kansas City. So, the poll question would be frivolous. But we've got 9.5, 9.5, 6.5. And I will say, I don't see or hear anybody picking Tampa Bay. So which dog you give the best shot this weekend? Packers, Texans, Bucks. That's our poll question. That Mark Miller, the David Moulton, Florida Sports Network.com. 71% of you yesterday preferred Jim Harbaugh to be your coach for 2024 as opposed to Bill Belichick. So 7 out of 10 of you took Harbaugh over Belichick. Belichick reportedly interviewed a second time with Atlanta. Josina Anderson of CBS saying, barring the unforeseen, Bill Belichick's going to be the next head coach of the Atlanta Falcons. Did you see the quote from Kirk Cousins?
I did not.
Kirk Cousins was asked about playing for Bill Belichick, and he said, I would never turn down the opportunity to play for Bill Belichick. I'm telling you, the Atlanta Falcons are winning 12 games next year and will be playing this weekend next year.
And Kirk Cousins will be their quarterback?
And Bill Belichick will be their head coach. Bill's going to come dangerously close to catching Shula next year. They're going to win so many games.
They'll go nuts in Atlanta. Atlanta, it's weird. Georgia is all Georgia. Atlanta's not all the University of Georgia. Atlanta's a lot of Falcon fans. They're Atlanta people. They're not Georgia people, if you know what I mean.
Right. They're not dogs.
No.
Right. They're rooting for the Braves. They're rooting for the Falcons, even the Hawks. Right.
But they're not all dogs in Atlanta. Doesn't mean that they're not dogs in Atlanta. But the diehard Falcon fan, they're fired up right now.
Arthur Blank's not messing around. He's in his early 80s. He hasn't won this sucker. Came agonizingly close. The guy he's about to hire helped prevent him from winning this sucker. Bill Belichick needs a gig. Kirk Cousins' in-laws live just outside the city. And the Vikings are morons.
What leverage do they have now?
Zip, zilch, nada. Cousins on the record saying I would take less money. And they've let that opportunity come and go.
And Kirk Cousins never takes less money.
Never. The only time he did, he used the Jets to get the Vikings to up their offer. The Jets technically still had a little more money on the table than the Vikings, but he went to Minnesota and got it fully guaranteed. So the Jets offered more money. The Vikings fully guaranteed it. A little less. But no, Kirk Cousins does not leave money on the table. He said he would leave money on the table to re-sign in Minnesota. They said, we'll just let this play out. Huh. Okay.
So Atlanta and Belichick, second interview. We'll see how long this takes. As Nick Sirianni is still the coach in Philadelphia.
He is. He is. I'm a little surprised. I think today could be the day, by the way. I think they meet today. This was the day Doug Peterson didn't survive 3 years ago. Remember, Doug Peterson was coming back. They had the bad year, 6-10. They threw the game at the end of the year so Washington could win the division instead of the Giants. And, but it was all okay. It was all a plan. And they sat down with Doug and said, so what's your plan going forward? And he told them. And they went to lunch. They came back and they said, yeah, we're not digging the plan. So Nick Sirianni's got to unveil his plan. Just, be careful after lunch, Nick. That's all I'm saying.
Eat something light. You may be busy in the afternoon. You might not have time for a nap. Miller and Moulton. Thanks so much for listening. Pat Kirwan in 47 minutes right here on the Florida Sports Network.
The waterways of Naples are a beauty to behold, and the Bayfront Inn has multiple ways for guests to enjoy the water and have some fun. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn. Something for everyone. On 5th Avenue in Naples.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network. I don't think anything you said there, Empire, I don't know about the Doug part, but I think that you're on with a Howie control freak, but that doesn't necessarily mean he wins out. Put the shoes on screen, would you? Oh, I thought you had the Lion shoes today.
No.
I saw the bat when I walked in. I saw the blue. I just saw the.
No. These are just fancy.
Okay, so just the
LeBrons.
shoes are just for game day.
Yes. I was gonna bug you guys and send you a picture. All three of my brothers had Lions shoes on at the game last weekend.
I saw a group of Steeler fans when I was walking to the game. There was 4 guys. Jake and I were walking behind, all probably closer to my age, and they all had the Steeler shoes on. And I'm like, okay,
It's a thing.
if you say so.
They're available at least. People buy them.
Yes, they do.
You guys do brackets for March Madness?
Not a contest of any kind.
Okay.
Do
you fill one out for the sake of? Okay.
Yes, always.
That first weekend's my favorite weekend of the whole year.
I love the Thursday and Friday.
It's amazing. Yeah, the Thursday and Friday is like sensory overload. And then Saturday, Sunday's still intense. It's obviously less basketball, but it's still just like consistent or constant.
No, I'll have 3 TVs set up in my living room.
Yes, that's the way you do it.
Finn's Brett really one more year, but let's be honest here. Miller and Moulton have lost that argument. That is our hill. We're standing on the jerseys over 25, but trust me, we have lost that argument.
Oh yeah. Everybody says we're fools.
This is also my name. I don't know if that's different, if that makes it different. Because, I know some people are like, they don't want to wear another man's name on their, I also didn't play in the National Football League, so
no,
there's
really?
that.
What?
I actually never
That's not what you put on your resume.
Never even played football. I was too little. Too skinny. Probably would have played safety, would have lowered my shoulder one time, broken my collarbone.
Yeah, I know, but then that makes my 70-inch TV a bunch of, 19-inch TV or 20-inch TVs, and I don't like it. I need large games.
I usually try to go 3 or 4 games at once, and as long as State isn't playing, it is whatever game Raftery's calling is the volume. That's how we roll.
Ooh. Oh, it's college. I thought it was high school because of Little Jim. Man, that kid got up in the air. You know what I'm sick of? When they're saying someone got posterized on a dunk. You got to go up and when you just dunk over someone that's standing there, you didn't posterize them. When someone D's you.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network.
21 minutes past the hour. Pat Kirwan to join us at the top of the hour on this Football Friday.
Football Friday.
Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. Trent Bally and the play of the day coming up in a matter of minutes. Trent, we haven't talked about this in a few days. So you and your brother have Lions season tickets, correct?
Yes, sir. 4 of them.
You have 2 and he has 2.
That is correct.
Okay. You went to the Lions playoff game last week. You are not going this week.
Right.
Okay. Who's your brother taking to the game?
My dad.
Okay. What are you doing with your 2 tickets?
Right now, they are simply listed on Ticketmaster. I have been slowly lowering the price to ensure.
Why?
Well, because I want to make sure they sell.
Well,
I'm not talking.
They're going to sell. Are you not paying attention?
Here's the thing, though, David. I set the bar like high just in case, and then now I'm kind of coming back to where they're selling at around.
Mark,
you know what I
a
mean?
little something about this. You do real estate.
Well,
Okay.
I also have been a ticket scalper since I was 18 years old. I probably know more about the ticket scalping than I do about real estate. And I don't think it's close, but it's all about selling. And I love what Trent did. You put it up there, you put a price on there. And if someone's silly enough to grab it because they want tickets, you never know.
Look, for what it's worth, as for 300 level seats, we're right in the end zone. I mean, you're right. The field goal is like the goalposts are, you're splitting them. So they're pretty good seats for the 300 level.
I agree with that. Okay. So how much you looking for?
I set them at 800. I'm probably going to get 650 or somewhere around there. That's what the rest of them are going for.
Boy, that's a lot of ramen noodles.
It is.
It's a lot of ramen.
Some would say frozen pizza.
Wow. Was there any pressure from mom, other brother,
the girlfriend
to give the tickets to the family?
No. I mean, my dad called me on Monday and just said, here's what we're doing. If you're not coming home, you're selling them, you're getting as much as you can. I'm going with Brock. This is what we're doing. So
all right, good for dad.
It was written.
Good for dad.
So dad finally gets to go.
Yes.
You know. And so dad, if you're listening, so you couldn't leave mom last week, but you can leave her this week? Is it because it's an extra round of the playoffs? I mean, what? Once we get to the divisional round, mom goes to the side? I mean, how does this work? Because remember, I was verklempt that he wasn't part of the foursome last week. He's like, well, no, I have to stay home with the wife, you know. And so the girlfriend, one brother's girlfriend went. By the way, has he put a ring on that yet?
Not yet.
So she was able to go to the first Lions home playoff game in 30 years, and she's not a fiance yet? That is unbelievable to me.
I'll tell you, the more the Lions win, the higher those chances get.
There's no doubt. Did you see USA Today ran a feature interview with the guy that was crying?
Yeah, that was awesome. It was great. There were probably a lot of stories like that.
Well, and I reached out, one of my college roommates, probably the reason that I like the NFL as much as I do is because of Craig Caddy, roommate that I had in college. Sundays were a bigger deal to him than Saturdays. And he was a Michigan State guy that liked the University of Michigan football team more than he liked Michigan State. He just couldn't get into Michigan. But he loved the Lions. And Sundays in college was a run for the border after you woke up with a hangover around noon, and then sit in front of the television from 1 o'clock for the rest of the day, eating Taco Bell and watching NFL with Craig. And I texted him yesterday. I said, how fired up are you? And he says, I think I cried. He's 58.
Well, what I totally related, for those that don't know, the picture, the Lions first down, they're going to win. They just have to take 3 knees. And the first crowd shot they go to, a bunch of younger Lions fans, more like Trent's age, and the one guy in the middle is crying. And so, you know, some people, as they want, you know, oh, they're crying over a football game. Well, when somebody found him and interviewed him, he said, actually, I was crying because I was thinking of my dad. My dad was killed in a car accident when I was 14. We bonded over the Lions. He was a huge Lions fan. Okay. And I'm, as fate would have it, he is now the same age that his dad was, you know. So anyway, he was crying thinking about his dad and how much his dad would have loved this moment and to have been able to share it with him and what have you. So,
well, and that's, you know, that's where my first thought was my dad. My next thought was to my buddy Craig, because my dad was a giant Lions fan and would have loved this. So I certainly get where that young man was thinking with with Dad, no doubt. Time now for our play of the day, brought to you by Molly Maid. Trent, what do you have for us?
I did really want to do South Florida's storming comeback to beat Penny Hardaway and Memphis. Full transparency, I could not find a single highlight clip that was longer than 5 seconds on the internet, so unfortunately, this will have to do. We go to familiar Tampa, Florida. It's the Lightning hosting the Minnesota Wild. The Bolts win big thanks to a 3-goal third period, including this special one on the power play.
Center point Hedman, 55 in the power play. Right circle Kucherov, left circle Stamkos, score!
Deflected off somebody.
Yeah, I think that's going to be Stamkos' goal. And with that assist, Nikita Kucherov, 500 career assists.
Kind of a wet blanket analysis, sort of. But, hey, Kucherov's 500th assist goes to Stammer. That's pretty fitting. And like I mentioned earlier, Lightning win at 7-3. They're starting to figure it out, guys.
Yes, they are. Impressive third period for the Lightning. Impressive game, but an impressive third period as the Wild scored late in the second to make it 4-3, and then the power play goal early made it 5-3, and the Lightning pulled away from there. And that is our Molly Maid play of the day. Call Molly Maid now at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839, and tell them Miller and Moulton sent you.
Dave Mishkin, Phil Esposito with the call, and the power play goal for Stamkos moved him ahead of Wayne Gretzky on the all-time power play goal list.
Is that a big deal?
Well,
no, I know it is.
Earlier, if you pass Gretzky walking down the street, I think it's an accomplishment. Never mind if you pass him on a hockey list of any kind. But this just in, by the way, Trent, if you took power play goals away from Gretzky, he still scored over 700 of them.
Unbelievable.
Actually, it's more like 670, but still. I think he'd be like 5th on the all-time goal scoring list if you took power play goals off his sheet.
That's amazing, because that speaks to how he was able to just be better than everyone without an advantage. It just, I'm going to beat you. Incredible.
And to think he did it at his size in his day and age.
Well, that's because he had a Semenko and a McSorley out there that basically said, if you touch him, I will kill you.
Kill you. Kill you.
That would have been so fun to be those guys.
Of course, Gretzky had to carry him around because they couldn't contribute much on the ice. Okay, I'm here to protect you. Oh, good. We're playing 4-on-5. But okay, got it. Got it. Because the other guys are really good. We can make this work.
Go stand in front of the net every once in a while. I'll bang one off your stick. It'll go in. We'll get you on the score sheet.
Exactly. I'll get you 30, 40 points a year just for standing there. Hey, listen, come by me in the corner. I'll pass it to you, pass it back to me. Okay, go in front of the net. That'll be an assist for you. Just wait a second.
That's where the hockey assist rules really come into effect.
Exactly. So, all right. Good luck getting, whatever you're going to get for those tickets. And, boy, you'll be able to, make those $2 and $3 and $5 bets on the Hard Rock app. I mean, I know you wanted to bet Illinois minus 2.5 last night. It just.
This is like when Fame changes the band and it breaks up the band. I cannot let this money change me. I got to stick to my $2, $3 bets. Otherwise, it's going to get ugly.
I'll tell you what, I want you to head out around today, out in that outfit. I want you out and about to see if you get any grief from Buck fan. Because it was all cute. Now you're playing their team. You're in their territory.
Exactly.
That Lions gear. See if you can survive the day.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
By the way, Joe, the charity is Trent Valley. He's not making any money. There's a time to give money to charity, and when you're broke, that is not the time.
Yeah, that is that's not on the agenda. Hate to break it.
I had my first quail egg yesterday.
Oh,
Whale egg?
Yeah. My
Did it
wife's
taste any
coworker.
different?
No, just a smaller.
You ever had caviar?
Lots of times.
Do you like it?
I do.
Okay. That intrigues me. I've
That-
never had it, but it kind of just makes me squeamish thinking about it. But if it tastes good, it tastes good. I don't know.
Salty. There's not much to it.
Okay.
My mother-in-law and my wife love it, but they can be hoity.
especially if you put them together. If you separate them, no, Johnny, it's a Think Bar, high in protein, low in sugar.
Whatever.
Does it taste good?
It's not bad.
I have had tuna salad casserole. Yes. It was a Midwest staple, for crying out loud. You can't grow up in middle-class Michigan and not have tuna salad at least one time in your life, or tuna macaroni salad.
You've had every kind of salad, every kind of casserole.
Yes, exactly. It's like asking a Southerner if they've had cornbread stuffing.
Right.
I hate egg salad. I hate egg salad. That's one of my least favorite foods.
I'm not
like
a
it.
fan.
I like
Just the
it.
smell of it.
Smell doesn't seem to bother David.
He can't smell.
Not that well.
Yes, Brett, that's exactly what we're talking about. You're exactly right. Everywhere, every family function, every holiday.
This guy on Twitter said, "Sorry, babe, I can't come over tonight. Me and the boys are naming obscure wide receivers in the group chat again."
We do that once a week. My friends and I literally do that once a week, where we just try to out obscure the other guy. Except we don't limit it to one position. Here we go.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
"22 minutes before the hour. Pat Kirwan will join us at the top of the hour. Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com on this Football Friday.
Football Friday.
Our poll question: which one of the three significant underdogs, Bucks, Texans, Packers, do you give the best shot to win this weekend? It's been 5 years since all four home teams won in the divisional round. Road teams are actually 6-10 in the last 4 years. Now, 3 of those 6 came 2 years ago. But in the 3 years in and around it, a road team has won every year in the divisional round. So the odds are there's a road team winning this week. The easy choice, of course, is the Chiefs. Just a 3-point dog in Buffalo. The late game Sunday, oh, by the way. But I voted for, I voted for the Packers, by the way.
And I voted for Houston.
So, of the two big underdogs, of the two 9.5-point dogs, I give Green Bay a better shot against Frisco. Mark gives the Texans a better shot against Baltimore. I would love for one question to be answered for me in the Lions-Bucks game. Is Tampa going to turn the ball over? If I could literally get one question answered. Because I do think Detroit does not, Heisman them, if you will. Just kind of keep them at a distance and take care of them easily if the Bucks play turnover-free ball. I think Tampa can linger and make some plays.
I think Tampa can linger because everybody's seemingly been able to. I mean, Detroit's defense has not been good. They've allowed teams to get back in games the way they allowed the Rams to get back in it last week. It's happened a few times down the stretch.
Baker called up some of his guys, because he spent the 5 weeks with the Rams last year. He said that he called a few of them and said, "So, what was it like?" They're like, "Oh, loudest thing ever." They're like, never played a game that was so loud. So the whole get the plays in quickly, silent counts. Bucks mentally are going to have to be very sharp Sunday afternoon. These games take a lot of concentration on offense. Mark, can they block Hutchinson? Because I don't think they can. Now, you could double team them, but,
Here's the problem with Hutchinson is that he creates a lot of havoc.
Right.
He doesn't put the quarterback on the ground a whole lot.
I understand. But, creating havoc could be enough against Tampa to get that one turnover. to just prevent a few of those big plays from happening, to force Baker to not hold on to it longer to throw it to the wide receivers and instead have to check it down to Rashad White and or Otten. Never mind the fact, are they going to have to put a sixth lineman on the field for Hutchinson and obvious passing downs, or are they going to have to keep a tight end in? You know, they killed Philly with the tight end Monday night. Killed them. Used Evans and Godwin almost as decoys for 2 hours and ran the other wide receivers and the tight end over the middle of the field. But that's what I'm wondering. That to me is, you know, the snap count, the Lions pass rush. You know, how do we think the Bucs offensive line, Mark, your gut feeling, how do you think the Bucs offensive line is going to hold up against the Lions defensive line?
I think they'll hold up okay. I really do. I think the Lions will get their, you know, they'll get a couple 3 sacks. Like, I think Detroit wins this game. I don't know if they cover this game.
Okay.
The Lions, you look back, the month of December, they beat the Saints by 5. They lost to the Bears. They blew out the Broncos. They beat the Vikings by 6. Lost to the Cowboys and then won the Vikings game at the end of the season by 10. They don't blow teams out. I think Detroit wins this game 26-20.
Ooh, you're liking the half, are you?
I do like the half.
Okay.
I'll take Detroit to win, but I would take the points in Tampa.
Interesting. For the record, Miller and Moulton, last week Mark was 2-4 against the number. I was 3-3. We both won on the Rams. We both picked them to win outright. We got that part of it wrong, but the 3 helped. I bet against the Dolphins and bet on the Bucs. That was the difference between the two of us. Mark didn't mess around. I had this fancy teaser with the Bills, and Mark just said, yeah, I'm laying the 10. They'll be fine.
And I thought Pittsburgh was going to give Buffalo points with a pick 6. Instead, they threw an interception in the end zone that took points off the board for them. So
I got my picks ready.
I kind of started probably on Sunday. We probably should start on Saturday. So let's go to Houston and Baltimore.
I don't like a young dome team heading outdoors where the temperature is going to be in the low 20s and it's going to feel colder than that. The other thing that I don't like, if you look closely, Baltimore this year is Philly last year when it comes to getting pressure on the passer. The Ravens are the best at it in the league. Now, Houston did a great job on Cleveland last week. But if you look at the teams that Houston has faced down the stretch, most of them don't get after the passer very well. I think this will be the big difference in this game. CJ Stroud is not going to be able to order Starbucks like he has the last 2 games against Indy and Cleveland. I think Baltimore is going to make life for CJ Stroud very difficult. I don't think they're going to respect Houston's running game. I think they are going to try to cut the head off this snake early and often in this game. And I think that they make Stroud and the Texans uncomfortable. My only hesitation, Mark, is how long does it take a first-team offense that really hasn't played in 3 weeks? Because they didn't play the regular season finale against Pittsburgh, and we all know they had last week off. So Lamar and the guys haven't ramped it up in 3 weeks. How long is it going to take them to get back to game speed, if you will? So to me, Houston needs to make headway early in this game. But I like Baltimore to win, and I like them to cover. 38-20 Ravens, lay the 9.5.
I'm with you on laying the points. I've liked Baltimore all week long. My only hesitation has been the fact that Baltimore is just, they've laid some playoff eggs. But I do think the new coordinator for Baltimore, Todd Monken, and Lamar, that this has made Lamar such a more complete quarterback The way he now looks for receivers 2 and 3, getting Andrews back helps. But even the fact that Andrews was gone, it enabled him to get so much more trust in other receivers, in the tight end likely, and they can still run the football. I don't see Baltimore having any problems in this game. 35-17 Baltimore.
Dalvin Cook, by the way, replacing Melvin Gordon on the roster. He will be active for the game for the Ravens. I think that's a big difference between past Ravens teams, Mark, and this one. They have so many more weapons on offense. So many more weapons. All right.
Green Bay and San Francisco.
The Niners have been Matt LaFleur's kryptonite, and San Francisco has owned Green Bay in the playoffs for quite a while now. Going back really to that T.O. catch at the goal line in the late 90s to end Holmgren, Favre, and the whole thing that they had going. I think Green Bay can keep it close. Defensively, they've made great strides. I don't think this Niners offense is a juggernaut. I don't. They also, the whole 3-week thing, because they didn't play the regular season finale against the Rams and didn't play last week. So does it take them a moment or two to get up to speed? I think Green Bay keeps it close. Niners win 27-20. I'm taking the points.
I think that, much like you said that CJ Stroud had lots of time. Well, Jordan Love had an immense amount of time in the game against Dallas. They put no real pressure on him. Well, that's not going to happen with San Francisco. San Francisco pressures quarterbacks, and they can do it with 4, as well as anybody maybe outside of Baltimore in the game. So I love what I think San Francisco's going to do defensively to Jordan Love. They're going to confuse him. He's going to throw a few picks. The offense is a juggernaut. You have more weapons than any team in the league. And Brock Purdy has said this week that he feels comfortable heading into the playoffs, which he didn't feel that way a year ago. All the questions will be answered about Purdy that have been asked. I think San Francisco gets it done and gets it done in a big way. I think this game's a blowout from the word go. I like San Francisco 37-13.
3:00 Sunday. The Bucks getting 6.5 in Detroit against the Lions. I don't like Tampa Bay at the line of scrimmage in this game. Both ways also. Like, for as much as I love Kalijah Kancey, and so far I've been right about Kalijah Kancey, you could argue this is the new best offensive line in the league. I don't know that the Bucks get a whole lot done without having to bring the house against Goff and the Lions. And this is a very dangerous team to do that with. Who's going to guard Gibbs one-on-one? Who's going to guard St. Brown, period? Cover him, if you will. I'm not liking this matchup for Tampa. I'm not. I hope they're better at the line of scrimmage than I think they're going to be. I like Detroit. Tampa with a late score to make it closer than it really is. Lions 30, Bucks 20.
I already gave you my score on this one. What David pointed out is why the Lions win this game. Everybody seems to have this narrative that Jared Goff is not a good quarterback against the blitz, when in fact he's one of the best in the league against the blitz. According to Pro Football Focus, this isn't me just imagining it. According to Pro Football Focus, he's the 3rd best quarterback in the league against the blitz, and he's been blitzed a ton. If Bowles blitzes the way he always blitzes, that's advantage Detroit. I do think Detroit's defense, though, will give up points. They do to everybody. You can throw the ball against the Lions. I like Detroit, but I like Tampa to cover 26-20 Lions.
And then the Romo Bowl. Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen. Get the mute button ready. I think it'll be low scoring. the Chiefs struggle to score touchdowns in the red zone, and the Chiefs' defense is the best that they've had during this run. So I actually think the game will be low scoring. Could be the first one to 20 actually wins, Mark. I think it could be that low scoring. The Bills' injuries on defense really concern me. And Snead, I think, is going to shadow Diggs for much of the game. And he's an elite corner who doesn't get enough attention. But I think Josh Allen carries the day, and the Bills running the ball with Cook is different than anything the Chiefs have had to face before when playing Buffalo. Mark, I think Buffalo comes into Baltimore next week wounded and gets whacked, but I think the Bills get by the Chiefs. I'm laying the 3. 20-16 Buffalo.
I have been hemming and hawing on this game all week long. I can't get a read on it. Check. I can't get a read on this guy, David. But Patrick Mahomes found a little offense last week. And I love the under in this game. But the Chiefs score late and win it 17-16. And the Chiefs take down the Bills, and heartbreak ensues in Buffalo. Those are our picks. We'll get Pat Kirwan's picks. He's next right here on Miller and Moulton. Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Jason and Todd with the Diamond District are excited to invite you to their annual Winter Wedding Band Expo. Saturday, January 20th and Sunday the 21st, Jason and Todd with the Diamond District welcome many top wedding band designers to their 6,000 square foot diamond superstore, including M-Fit, My Caroline, Crown Ring, A Jaffe, and more. You'll choose from the largest selection of wedding bands in Southwest Florida and receive 20% off designer retail prices. This is the best time of year to buy your wedding band with the lowest prices and largest selection from America's top bridal designers. Whether your wedding date has been set or you're still deciding, Saturday, January 20th and Sunday the 21st is the perfect time for you to head to the Diamond District and choose your wedding bands. Jason and Todd want to meet you personally and share with you the largest selection of wedding bands and offer you 20% off retail prices during their Winter Wedding Band Expo.
At the Diamond District.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Good morning.
Hey, Pat.
Morning.
How are you, boys?
Good. How are you?
I am doing great. I was listening to you guys, enjoyed that commentary. I'm taking all 4 home teams.
I was going to, and I chickened out. I had to pick one road team, so I picked Kansas City.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Plus, that'll piss off more Buffalo fans that way, and that's fun.
Jim Miller is not. He wants to take Tampa Bay, but he said, I won't be able to go to the local bar after the game. He lives in Detroit.
Why? He doesn't think that
he thinks Tampa's going to beat him. I was very glad to see him take it. But he said he can't do it because he's afraid of his neighbors and his friends at the local tavern.
I think we're in danger of giving Tampa a little too much credit for beating a team that we think had their golf tee times already set.
Yeah, I don't think there's enough there. And I think the world of Baker, but he's done a great job. I think it ends right here.
Hey, Pat, you got a little hum, a little buzz there. I don't know if there's a connection's not plugged in right.
No, you know what it is? And I have my, you won't believe this, Mark. Well, you will because you live here. They're cutting the tee boxes.
Oh.
There's nothing I can do about that. I mean, cutting the tee boxes in the rain and fog. What they're doing. Oh, you know, I was trying to tell you guys the other day. So we've had this happens like every 4 years. We've had hog problems here.
Yep.
So they brought in the hunters. This is amazing. In 3 nights, they trapped 60 hogs on the grounds of West Bay.
Wow.
60. And they're here for 2 more days, so I guess there's more out there.
Trying to get to 100.
Yeah.
They make little piggies in a hurry.
They sure do. If you don't get them all you need is 2 to make it through Adam and Eve, and they'll start over again. I haven't seen them they usually destroy the golf course. They find grubs and they just, they've been in Chapel Trace and coming onto the course, but they've been basically whacking people's backyards. Well, it's funny because when the guys came to investigate, they said it was probably a herd of 18 to 20. In 2 nights, they had 60. Tim Ryan used to come here and hunt. They let him hunt here, which was great for him. A little radio club. He'd go out there with bow and arrow and get in a tree stand.
Did you talk to him this week about the Niners?
Yeah, he called me. He wanted Drew Rosenhaus's phone number. I said, "Oh God, you're not switching agents, are you?" No. He said, "I just need to ask him some questions about some guys." But yeah, he's doing fine. He's always upbeat about that team. And when they weren't very good, he was pretty realistic. But he thinks they're on fire. I don't know. I think the AFC will win the Super Bowl. How's that for a statement? You think the AFC winner, Baltimore or Buffalo, or whoever it is going to win the Super Bowl?
Well, if it's Buffalo, I will be worried about their defense.
Here we go.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
It is the third and final hour of Miller and Moulton along the network on this Football Friday.
Football Friday.
Pat Kirwan joins us once again. He of NFL Radio's Moving the Chain, CBS's NFL Today show, CBS with the Super Bowl this year. Pat joining us once again, courtesy of Pinchers, Tampa to Key West, all points in between. Pinchers, where you can't fake fresh. Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing fine, fellas. I think you said it the other day, David, down to 7 NFL games. And I certainly don't count the dodgeball game that they're going to play with the All-Stars.
Right.
So 7 real football games. It's kind of, I won't say it went fast, but it's It's coming to the end right here, and this is a really fun weekend. I think we all love 4 games like this.
No
And
doubt.
here we are.
So, what ones? If are you worried about either 1 seed, Pat?
No, I'm not. I think the 1 seeds are true, and they are the best teams in their conferences, and I'm not worried about them. And, I admire what's going on with Green Bay, who's in to face the 49ers, and the rapid growth of the whole thing with the youngest team. There's a lot to be excited about, and if I were the Chicago Bears or the Vikings, I'd be really depressed because now there's 2 teams pulling away from us with Detroit and Green Bay. So no, I'm not worried about San Francisco. I think they've got all the ingredients to be a great team. They run the ball. They know how to run the ball, and they, get after the quarterback without having to blitz all the time. So they know how to do that. It'd be interesting to see what Purdy does. Again. In Baltimore, they just dominated. You look at Baltimore, and I think this is why I love them the most of all the teams. Go look at their record against the playoff teams, 6-3. When they play the good teams, they dominate them. That's where I think they're the most impressive. They beat up. Even San Francisco, they beat up. So they clearly look like the best team, both sides of the ball, offense and defense.
What is it about Frisco that has you could argue 25 years, but really the last dozen years, what is it about Frisco that is such a difficult matchup for Green Bay? I mean, the Niners are truly the Packers' kryptonite, Pat, especially in January. And if you think about it, Harbaugh's Niners, Shanahan's Niners, schematically they were different, but physically they're the same. Is that the problem, that they're just more physical than Green Bay?
I get asked a lot about why I like them so much, and it kind of sets up with your question. To me, nobody has as many hybrid players as San Francisco. And you look at those 5 guys and look where they line up. They line up in like 20 different spots. We've talked about that back in November. And they are an up-tempo rhythm. They're not a no-huddle team, but they'll come at you, and all of a sudden Debo's the running back, McCaffrey's the X, Kittle's outside. And so they keep shuffling the deck with those hybrid guys, and once they feel like they got you in the matchups they want, because they will make matchups that you can't handle, and they take advantage of you. That, and then their blocking schemes in the run game. I think they're a superb blocking team. Some of the guys some teams get overwhelmed by the motions and the shifts and everything else, and a young team could have problems with that. But I think it's really the hybrid players. You really don't see teams that have all these kind of guys that can line up all over the place, and I think it causes problems for matches.
And Pat, you mentioned their blocking schemes. They're a very physical team. I think what gets discounted with all the hybrid players that you talk about and how good they are and how many points they can score is just how physical they can be, because part of that, the schemes that they do, is that they can bully opponents when they want to, can't they, Pat?
They can. Now, they're not as good in the offensive line as they want to be. They've always prided themselves, and I know when they let McGlinchey go, they thought they could upgrade. They didn't really upgrade from McGlinchey, who was mediocre when he was there, and I'm a fan of his. But so when I talk to people that work there, and you figure out who my friends are there, they would like to be better in the offensive line, but they get you with this other fast pass stuff. Protect Purdy. If they get Purdy unprotected, then they have some problems. You can go back and look at 3 or 4 games. The Baltimore game is one of them. Crazy Minnesota blitzing like crazy was another one. I think the Bengals was the third, where if Purdy is in trouble, then they can fall apart that way. But mostly they're going to move the ball fast, get it out of their hands, and let the Debos of the world get a 3-yard reception and take off. And that's how they solve their problems.
Yeah, the blitz has been surprisingly effective against Purdy and the Niners this year. Remember even Cleveland, that game that they ratcheted up in the second half and they beat him. They were all over him, and it wasn't just Myles Garrett. The rest of the house was coming also. Don't you think, and I know it's not necessarily Green Bay's modus operandi, but if you're the Packers, don't you have to blitz up the middle early on Purdy and prove to the Niners that, hey, you can handle this? Because at times this year, they've struggled with pressure packages.
They have struggled with it. The irony of that, though, and I'm with you on it, is that Purdy does have the most touchdowns against the blitz. So what does that tell you? They have figured out ways to overcome it, but Green Bay will blitz the run. That's the difference with them. They'll blitz the run on first and second down. And if it happens to be a pass, well, they'll keep on coming. They'll keep going to the quarterback, but they will blitz on first and second down. I think they led the NFL in that area. So this is a good time to blitz the run. Guys that like to do it, they're pretty smart about how they do it, but I think if you get any tips formationally, you start blitzing the formation for the run game. And I think that's what Green Bay will do. And that tells me McCaffrey with the outside run game. That's where he's the most dangerous. Get away from the inside pressure quick. That's what I think they'll try to do.
What about Green Bay with their offense? I mean, Jordan Love here has been playing brilliant football for several weeks. What is San Francisco going to do to stop that, or are they?
They don't blitz a lot, San Francisco, but they're very effective when they do it. They don't do it a lot. They believe in their front four. Jordan has been on fire. I mean, we all know the numbers. Everyone's been saying them for a week now. 21 touchdowns, 1 interception. I mean, this is 2 seasons. The first season was the first 9 games. He threw 10 interceptions. Throws a lot of his picks against zone defense. So I expect to see zone defense in a 4-man rush and try to get him to make some mistakes. But the kid is phenomenal right now, and he's going to get a big fat contract, even though he has a year left on that dinky deal that he did for 2 years. I don't think they can stay up with him, if you will. I think that they're going to have a problem just on the pace of the game. But if you look at them recently, Green Bay is 30 points a game for the last month. Do I think they can get 30 against these guys? No, I don't.
Can they run the ball at all against the Niners? No one expects them to run it the way they did against Dallas, but can they run it at all so that Love doesn't have to throw the ball 35 plus times? All right, the first game on Saturday. Ravens, Texans. Texans, not a young team, by the way. Their key players are young, but they're not a young team, but they are a dome team. Is that a factor tomorrow?
It usually can be. I just don't think they're as good as Baltimore. And Baltimore has got a nice home field advantage. It's going to be a little tough for those guys. Lamar, I know his record in the playoffs is terrible. He's got to get the ghost out of the closet on that one, a 1-3 record. And his turnovers in postseason have been terrible. But Lamar's a better player right now. Lamar's got a lot more going on a positive sense. I think Baltimore's defense, now there's a team, what do they have, 15 guys with sacks? They'll be swarming all over our friend. And the last time they played, I'd almost throw the game out. It was the first game of C.J. Stroud's career. But the 5 sacks and the 10 hits on the quarterback tell me that their front couldn't block those guys. And so we expect Baltimore to keep coming after him. And I think Stroud will do fine, but I don't think he'll be doing enough to take care of this stuff. And then Lamar, the runner, that's the problem for everybody. Go look at Baltimore at home. They got a nice home field advantage, 32 points a game at home. That, I think, is just a little too much for Houston, who's not a very good road team. I talked to Seth Payne yesterday, who covers them, and he thought there were a couple of issues. Their road record is not distinguished, to say the least. And he thought that, at the end of the day, he said, if Baltimore wants to, they can throw on us all day. No, getting to the level of confidence that Lamar would throw the ball 35 or 40 times, I don't think they want to, but he thinks they should because they didn't like Houston in the second game.
Marlon Humphrey out at corner for the Ravens. Ronald Darby in his place. Mark Andrews has practiced all week, yet listed officially as questionable. Dalvin Cook expected to be active and play for the Ravens, Mark.
All right. When you made the comment, too, that Lamar, this is a different Lamar, but how important is it early in the game for him to get, you talked about throwing. To me, I'd have him throwing a little bit early just to give him that confidence and get rid of the ghost that you talked about, Pat. How would you start the game for Baltimore?
Two routes I'd run a bunch of. One, the speed out to Odell. I watched that all summer, and they play off on him, and he is very good at shaking guys and running the 8-yard out There's an easy catch. Throw it into the boundary side, which is what they were doing at camp. It's a shorter pass, and it's right now. So there's the first one. The other one is the slant route or the shallow cross to Zay Flowers. I think Zay Flowers can be a weapon. So those are the two easy routes. Remember, if he, in fact, gets the big tight end back, that was his go-to guy for his whole career. So there's three short route players that put the rhythm in the passing game for Lamar.
Do you think the Ravens are different this time around because they've never had weaponry like this with Lamar? I mean, we could go back year by year, even when they were the 1 seed, Pat, 4 years ago. You know, they didn't have two legit wide receivers, two legit tight ends. I mean, he's got more around him now than he's had before, right?
Absolutely. And he wasn't ready for the kind of coaching he's getting now. You know, he developed himself into a better quarterback, and now Moulton and those guys are taking advantage of his own growth.
He's Pat Kirwan, NFL Radio's Moving the Chain, CBS Sports, the NFL Today Show. We still have two games to get to, Tampa Bay at Detroit, and, of course, Kansas City at Buffalo, and we will get to those on the other side. Pat's appearances, as always, courtesy of Pinter's Pictures, with locations from Tampa to Key West. Pinter's, where you cannot fake fresh. The text line's always open if you've got a question for Pat Kirwan at 21,000. And we'll have more with Pat coming up on the other side, getting his thoughts on the two games. David and I already made our picks. Both of us going Baltimore and San Francisco. Pat doing the same thing. David and I both took Detroit, although I have Tampa Bay to cover. I took Kansas City on the road. David taking Buffalo. We'll get Pat's thoughts on the Sunday games next. Thanks so much for listening. Miller and Moulton right here on the Florida Sports Network.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Jason and Todd with the Diamond District are excited to invite you to their annual Winter Wedding Band Expo. Saturday, January 20th and Sunday the 21st. Jason and Todd with the Diamond District welcome many top wedding band designers to their 6,000 square foot diamond superstore, including MFit, My Caroline, Crown Ring, A Jaffe, and more. You'll choose from the largest selection of wedding bands in Southwest Florida and receive 20% off designer retail prices. This is the best time of year to buy your wedding band with the lowest prices and largest selection from America's top bridal designers. Whether your wedding date has been set or you're still deciding, Saturday, January 20th and Sunday the 21st is the perfect time for you to head to the Diamond District and choose your wedding bands. Jason and Todd want to meet you personally and share with you the largest selection of wedding bands and offer you 20% off retail prices during their Winter Wedding Band Expo.
At the Diamond District.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Which game do you have, David?
He's got Baltimore.
Baltimore.
You in studio? You're not going anywhere, are you in studio?
We're not going anywhere. We're scheduled. Here's what's going to happen next week for the championship game. We're going to Baltimore if it's Baltimore. We are not going to Buffalo if it's Buffalo. And,
what about if it's Kansas City?
I may not go.
You don't want to go see your bartenders?
No. You know what? I like them a lot, but all I remember about that place is the wind and freezing cold, walking across the highway to the town whatever that steak joint is. But no, nobody wants to go to Kansas City. We've already got all of our stuff booked in Baltimore, so that could be jinxing us completely.
Hey, Pat, I feel like I got to let you know my dad's going to the playoff game this weekend.
Well, you came around. You saved your respect.
Yeah, there's no girlfriends involved.
Oh, yeah. She's out. Good. Your dad will be say you can't turn. Now, I heard the tickets last week was $588 for the cheapest seat the day before the game. I heard it's $750.
That's what mine are listed at right now, the two that I have. They haven't sold yet, but yeah, that's about what they're going for. Anywhere from $650 to $750.
God darn it. Unless these guys are paying you a shitload of money, I'd sell my own ticket and stay home.
He's selling his two this time. He's not flying back.
Good.
He got to see the first one in 30 years, and now wisely selling these two.
As you should. Yeah. I talked to some Dolphin fans that drove to Kansas City last week.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. That was the ones that they lived in Dallas or wherever?
Yeah.
Texas? Yeah, I remember you saying that they were driving up.
Yeah. And his wife and daughter left before halftime. Got in the car and drove back to the hotel. He had to talk someone into dropping him off at the hotel. He didn't even know the guy. He goes, "Which way are you going?" He goes, "Downtown." He goes, "Can you give me a ride? My wife left already."
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Nothing brings people together like football.
You ain't kidding. I noticed, by the way, my friend, that the two guys in the studio there that you're looking at, those guys, now they're on Detroit's bandwagon after they didn't take them last week.
Hey, everyone and their mother, except Pat Kirwan, picked the Rams last week.
And I picked the Rams +3, which was a winner, by the way.
Yeah,
for the record, was a winner.
They did cover.
Yeah, you looking for credit for that?
I was going to say we were one first down away from being right.
Yes, that makes you wrong.
Yes, it does.
Yes, it does.
But it's good to see that you're back on the band. The Lion Roar, Lion Roar. Here they come again, and no problem taking them this week against the Bucs.
I don't think Tampa's that good. Yeah. Although I do think Tampa can throw the ball against Detroit because everybody can throw the ball against Detroit.
Yeah.
The Lions got away with forcing no turnovers against the Rams. I think they've got to force a couple, and if they do that, they should be fine. I don't know. I'm oddly confident.
Well, let me ask the two gentlemen I'm looking at: are the Bucs better or worse than the Rams?
Worse.
Worse.
Nothing else to say. Their schedule's getting easier, unlike some teams. Good though. Got the right teams in the final 8.
Just give me 3 good games, Pat. That's all I want. 3 out of the 4.
Yep. Which one's most likely to be a blowout? San Francisco?
I think Baltimore, Houston.
Yeah. Baltimore at home is kind of an assassin.
David, for your sake, I hope that's a barn burner.
It's the last game, Trent. At this point, just directly deposit the check and get me home.
So maybe a blowout is better then.
It's time for Florida Gulf Coast basketball.
No, I'm done with them.
You're not going to be back down here to do it?
I didn't do the games last year. Nope. No, I'm done with FGCU.
Well, weren't you here doing a game 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, but I did it actually for Jacksonville
Coming back.
University.
Oh, I got you.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
21 minutes past the hour. Our remaining moments with Pat Kirwan, he of NFL Radio's Moving the Chains, CBS's NFL Today Show. Pat joining us courtesy of Pinchers, Tampa to Key West, over a dozen locations in between. Pinchers, where you can't fake fresh. We went through the 2 Saturday games, Pat, liking the home teams, the 1 seeds to advance. All right. Sunday, 3 o'clock in Detroit. A second home playoff game. The Lions have not had that. in, well, ever, maybe. Or we got to go back to the 50s. So the Lions and the Bucks, how do you see the matchup?
Well, I talked to Jonah Jackson yesterday. I want to start with him. The first thing I asked him was, how do you get rid of the euphoria of the win last week? The whole city was on fire, excited. You have to be able to get rid of that. And he kind of said, we're still talking about it. I said, you can't be doing that. You'll get yourself caught. So they're very aware that, they've got to move on. The head coach is pounding it into them. Leave that behind now. We got bigger things to do here. But so that's an issue. I think anytime you get a team that's had such little success and they have a little bit, which is a wild card win, sometimes that was the ultimate goal. And I think the coach is challenged a little bit to get everyone ready. Goff is doing a good job of trying to calm down the people around. He goes, we can't even go out anywhere without people still talking about that one. So that's an issue that I always worry about if I was a team like this. What I don't like about Tampa Bay is their record against playoff teams. They're 2-5. I think when you look at these, I look at this every week. You start looking at that. Not that Detroit's much better at 4-3, but 2-5. They just don't play well against the good teams because I don't think they are a great team. They will blitz the living daylights out of Goff, but I heard Mark talking about Goff against the blitz. Jonah said to me, "Yeah, we get about 15 to 20 blitz calls against us every week. We've seen it from everybody. We know how to pick it up, and we're pretty good at it." So his confidence was impressive about the blitz thing, and I think that's why Goff is so successful against it, and he is very successful. So I know Todd will blitz. I talk to Todd every week. Blitzing is in his blood, so he's going to bring heat. I asked him how many blitzes he had in last week. He said he had 8 specialties, which were things that he did not show a lot on tape before, and he said once we saw they were working, we went back and dusted off 8 more. So they had 16 different blitz calls into the game. And I think he's going to think he should do the same thing again here. But I don't think it's going to be as effective here. And Baker, nobody likes Baker more than me. And he's been terrific now in this little run they've been on. It's not little, 6 wins and a loss, 16 touchdowns. He'll play hard, but I just think that Goff and those receivers, which I heard you talking about, David, those guys are matchup problems. And the tight end will play. Laporta will play, and he's still very effective, even though he's not 100%. I like Detroit in this game. I don't think it's going to be easy, because I think Detroit they might come out a little off until they wake up and realize that they're in the next round.
Detroit defensively has been average at best.
Yeah,
and their pass coverage is not very good. Baker's got 2 damn good receivers in Godwin and Evans here. Can Tampa take advantage of Detroit throwing the football?
Can Tampa take advantage of them? Yeah, they can. At this time of year, it's an indoor game, so it's a little different, but Detroit's a solid running team. They're not very good in the sack department, although Hutchinson came alive last week. Keep moving them around. Where and how could Tampa win this game? It's your point, Mark, it's the guys in the back end. If Baker's willing to throw to Evans 10 times, 12 times, they might find 2 or 3 touchdowns doing that, and that could help them stick around in this game to the final quarter. But I don't see it happening.
Pat, my question is, can Tampa block them so that Baker can hold on to it long enough for the long routes? Because the way to beat Detroit is the longer routes, but you need the time. I'm worried that the Bucs line is not going to give Baker enough time.
I think that might be true, and I think James Houston, who was a full practice last week and now is ready to go here, I think just another guy that can rush the passer is going to help shorten the time that he can hold the ball. I'm with you on that. I'd roll coverage to Mike. It's the Belichick way. Just take Mike away and survive Chris and everybody else. Take Mike out of the game. And that's just rolling the corner and a safety on top of it every play. And that's what Belichick would do, and that's what they should do.
That gets us to Kansas City and Buffalo. Man, there's a lot of pressure on Josh Allen. And Pat, It may be. Is it really simple here? Does Josh Allen turn the ball over? If he doesn't, they win. If he doesn't, Buffalo wins. If he does, Kansas City wins. I mean, is it as simple enough of how Josh takes care of the ball on Sunday?
Well, it's always a problem if he gets into one of those moods. Last week we didn't have one winning quarterback throw an interception. Every one of them was clean as a whistle. And I think at home, if this game was out there, maybe I'd see a fumble and an interception. But at home, I think he's going to do great. And I know Spags has built a great defense. You can think Kansas City is a defensive team now. But Josh, Spags is aware of this one. 59 rushes in the 6 games against Spags. 59 of them, over 320 yards, a couple of touchdowns. The most important thing is why I think Buffalo wins. Spags has got to deal with Josh Allen, who runs for first downs. 6 games, he's done it 27 times. He will take off and run. Did everyone see the run last week? I didn't know that he was an Olympic 400-meter guy, because that's what he looked like running down the field. So I really do believe that Josh Allen's run dimension will be the big difference in the game at home, because I think they're tired of going out to Kansas City, kind of like I am. I'm tired of going out there too. So I say Josh Allen is the reason Buffalo wins.
Are the Bills healthy enough on defense? Because we all know the top corner and the top linebacker that they've been without for a while, but they got banged up against Pittsburgh, and that game was only Monday afternoon. Are the Bills healthy enough defensively?
Well, they are getting some people would think a 2-day, less rest than Kansas City, but it's at home, so there's not a travel day, so I think they'll be fine there. Look at Buffalo for the last 4 games. They are giving up 18 points a game, 18 and 18.5 or something. So they're playing good enough on defense, 74 total points against them. I'll go back to what I said about the other game. Kansas City is 2-4 against playoff teams. Buffalo's 6-1. Buffalo plays the big boys good. And Kansas City has not played the big boys very good.
Do you believe, by the way?
No, they have not.
What, David?
I was going to say, do you believe the whispers about Andy Reid and his future?
No.
Yeah, I don't either.
I have friends that are good friends with Andy when he's going to coach. Oh, they will say this. I think Pete Carroll sent him a note congratulating him that now he's the oldest coach in the league. Welcome to the title.
How surprised were you that McCarthy kept his job?
I always think that when you see those things, if they had their eye on someone like Belichick or anybody like that, they didn't want to go there. And, these guys are not stupid. They find out what their opportunities are, these owners. They're not going to sit here and fire the coach and then go ask the guy. So they find out if the guy's interested, whoever it is. And if there's no interest, then you move on. Maybe they had no interest in Harbaugh. Maybe Belichick had no interest in them. I don't know how it goes, but I know how owners will operate. Weeks ago, they probably started fishing to see who was going to be interested. And when they didn't find anyone that they cared for, they'd stick with their guy. I'll say this. I wouldn't leave Mike as a lame duck. There's too many problems with lame duck guys. Halfway through the season, go look at 4 of these 8 teams. Was it week 12 when they were all lousy? And they all pulled it out. You get a lame duck coach in there, and you're at the midway point, and things aren't going great. Players start going, he's getting fired. I think they should have at least put a year.
He's Pat Kirwan, and he joins us twice a week, courtesy of Pinterest. Pat, we're up against it. Thanks, buddy.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence. to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network. So, David, you'll have to text Carl Semesco at some point today and ask him how yesterday's interview went, because he was a guest on that show.
On what show?
The thing that was on Fox Sports.
Gotcha. I got to answer this.
What happened on Fox Sports?
There's a new local show, and it's the worst thing that's ever been on radio. It is. I mean, put it this: our old producer and Dave and I are on a text thing, and I heard it and was about to text the two of them, and David hits me with like 3 of them of calls he's getting from people because he can't listen to it. He's in Jacksonville, and his phone's blowing up
because they're like, "Are you listening to this?"
I don't know if it started on Monday. I happened to be in my car yesterday, and because I put Fox Sports on yesterday, listened to Dan Patrick for a little bit, and it was on when I would pick my daughter up, and I was like, "Oh my God,
Who's the?
It's David Wasson's the guy's name. Arch, 100 times. I don't know how long you've been in this market, Arch, but there was a guy that did mornings before me when I did mornings on this station who basically would just read the newspaper into the microphone. And that's about what this is.
Where does he broadcast out of?
Probably out of the studios at the other station downtown Fort Myers.
It's just that's a tough look.
I'll text him.
No, Paul, no. Paul, Doug Gottlieb's been on the air for 20 years. You may not like Doug Gottlieb, but he knows how to host a radio show. This guy was reading the newspaper.
Mm-hmm. Who's an FGCU guy?
Here we go.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network.
22 minutes till the top of the hour. Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. On this Football Friday.
Football Friday.
Divisional weekend. We've got 7 games left. 4 of them are this weekend. I would strongly urge you to tell your friends and family, unless they're going to watch the game with you, to leave you the heck alone. We've only got 7 of these suckers left. 4 of them are this weekend. I need my privacy. Okay? Now's the time to call in chips if you need them. You'll have plenty of time. This is the last Saturday of football, by the way, till late August. Just so you know. I mean, there's only 2 Sundays after this. So just keep that in mind. I know Saturday's a big errand day. I know Saturday's date night. I know it's make it happen night. I get all that.
Just make it happen with Green Bay and San Francisco instead.
Yeah, and you might have, a key half hour in between. Okay? I'm just saying. Especially if, the 1-1 seed takes care of business. If the Ravens have the thing in hand, maybe you break the drinks out early.
I think you'll be able to. I think we're going to get a blowout in one of the games on Saturday. I laid the points in both, but I think one of them is going to be ugly.
Well, I'm taking a leap of faith for Green Bay to do something that they have not done in a long time, which is figure out the Niners. I mean, they've had a lot of good teams over the last dozen or so years. I mean, at first, you go back to Harbaugh, they had no answer for Kaepernick. Kaepernick's legs, they couldn't stop. They were just Green Bay defense had nothing for Harbaugh and Kaepernick in their offense. Well, with Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams, the Niners just either steamrolled them on offense in an NFC Championship game. I mean, I believe Jimmy G threw the ball 8 times in the 2019 NFC Championship game. I believe it was 8. I mean, it was like Bob Greasy and the Dolphins from back in the day. I think Jimmy G was 6 of 8 throwing the ball in a blowout NFC Championship game performance. And then they went into Lambeau and they beat them also with defense. So can Green Bay, Matt LaFleur, while with the Packers, has had no answer for the Niners. Just like the Bills, Mark, have not had a playoff answer for the Chiefs. Came so close. But the Packers they don't have an answer for the Niners yet. And I'll be really curious for as brilliant, maybe the best coaching job of last weekend was Matt LaFleur versus Dan Quinn. What does Matt LaFleur and his defensive coordinator have for Kyle Shanahan and Steve Wilkes? Because every time they've played the Niners in the last 5 years, the Niners schematically have kicked their butt.
And I don't see why it stops this weekend. I'll be curious to see what Green Bay can do offensively to try to keep up. Because that, to me, they obviously had the huge lead and were able to dictate the way the game was played against Dallas. If it's going back and forth, can Green Bay keep up? And I don't think they can.
Remember, they won the toss against Dallas and took the ball, went the length of the field and scored. I think they need to do something similar. Throwing the ball. I think they'll have more time throwing the ball early in the game than later. I don't think they can line up and run the ball on Frisco without establishing the pass and scoring some points first. So can Jordan Love and company pick up where they left off? Will they finally get Christian Watson back? I mean, all hands on deck here.
They'll need Watson for sure. I just don't know how they're going to slow down the pass rush of San Francisco. I think Jordan Love's going to end up on his back a few times. I think he turns it over. I do worry about what San Francisco brings defensively to the table because I'm with you. I don't know if they'll be able to run it, David. And San Francisco can get after Love.
We'll say the Packers O-line late in the season, young O-line, they've played really well. Really well. Dallas's front did nothing. The Bears' front didn't do much either. So I'm just curious. I'm taking the points with Green Bay. That's a bit of a flyer for me. I should be taking the Niners, but I think San Fran wins. I've got all 4 home teams winning, but I'm taking the points with Green Bay. That's the only points I'm taking all week. You're taking the points on Sunday.
I am taking the points in both games. I think Detroit will win, but I don't think they win by the necessary number. It's 6.5. The half I love. This thing started out at 4.5. It's been bet up to 6.5.
I just like the Lions at the line of scrimmage much more than I like Tampa. I think Detroit will be able to run the ball a little bit. They were not able to run it in the second half against the Rams. That's why the Rams slowed them down. Detroit only scored 3 points. Rams moved the ball very effectively until they got to the red zone. The Bucs even, remember, it took them a long time to put the Eagles away Monday. Why? They bogged down in the red zone. That's the Chiefs' problem, by the way, Mark. The Chiefs have only scored touchdowns 52% of the time when they get in the red zone. How often are they going to get into the red zone against Buffalo? But come on, man. I mean, probably got to score a touchdown. Josh Allen and company get close. He can run it in himself. So it's why I like Buffalo. I think Josh Allen and the younger Cook brother, I think they have a running game at home that they haven't necessarily had against the Chiefs in past years.
Well, it's interesting you say that because, David, one of the things that Kansas City is going to need to get to win this game, in my opinion, is Mahomes' legs. Not necessarily the 52-yard, he doesn't need to make a 52-yard run for touchdown, but he needs to be able to escape the pocket when the receivers aren't there to get a first down or 2 with his legs, to maybe score that touchdown in the red zone with his legs.
The Chiefs, who are so good on the road in the regular season, had a better road record this year than home record. Think about all those road wins that the Chiefs had, that long AFC West road winning streak. What was it, like 15 in a row until Denver finally beat them this year? I mean, Mahomes has been so good on the road. Isn't it amazing? This is his 6th year as a full-time starter. 7th year in the league, but 6th as a full-time starter. They've been in the AFC Championship game each of the past 5 years. And this is his first road playoff game? I mean, that's remarkable. It's not like, like Joe Montana early in his career, they went to the Super Bowl and then they had a couple of interesting years and then they went to the Super Bowl again, but I mean, every year they're playing multiple playoff games. They haven't played on the road once.
And how will he handle it? I think he'll be fine. I think they will be fine. I don't think home field means that. Of all the games, I think home field means the least amount in the Buffalo-Kansas City game because of the quality of teams.
Interesting. I've got to think it makes sense. With the Chiefs wide receiving core, audibles on the road, whichever tailback rushes for more yards could be the difference in that game. I think KC needs a game from Pacheco or Edwards-Helaire, who, by the way, the best game of his career was at Buffalo. Now, granted, it was the COVID year. There was no one in the stands. That's the irony. But Mahomes has actually played in Buffalo before, but the one time he did, it was a COVID game. There was no one in the stands. And it was mid-season, and it was like a 45-degree night. And they ran the ball for about 240 yards that day. Edwards-Helaire at $150 himself.
I do love the under in that game.
45.5 is the over-under. I'm with you. 23-20's and under. Heck, technically 24-21's and under by a half.
I think because the Chiefs' offense has been such a story in the lack thereof, and the defense has been awesome, and it hasn't been talked about a whole lot. You can make the argument this is the best defense certainly left in the playoffs and maybe in the league all year.
Well, I don't know about the playoffs, but it's certainly the Chiefs' best defense during this run.
No doubt.
It's not close. Also, Snead is the shutdown corner. Ask Tyreek Hill. I watched him against A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith on a Monday night game. He had no problem with either one. Snead is a top 5 corner in this league. I got a feeling he's going to follow Diggs a lot.
I love the Kansas City defense. It's held them up all year long. And their offense finally showed up last week. Timing.
Against a very, very injured Dolphins defense, though. And they struggled for about 3 quarters.
They did.
That sucker away.
And now they're playing a very injured Buffalo defense.
They are. They are. Do you think the Bills can get more pressure on the passer than what the Dolphins brought to the fight last week, though? I think you'll give me that.
Oh, yes.
Think we have a Von Miller sighting? Do you think it's possible to have a Von Miller sighting, or is he just done?
I think we get one. You guys can call me crazy. I think we get a Von Miller sighting.
I'll call you crazy.
Mark and I both like the under. I've got 2016 Buffalo. Mark has 17-16 Chiefs.
Is this a whoever has the ball last wins type of game for you guys, or do you think it's victory formation for somebody?
Well, I don't know if it's who has the ball last, because I do think Kansas City's defense could stop. I think in the weather could stop either, but I see back. I see. Put it this way: I'd want it. If you were to tell me, you were to tell me right now, you just who has the ball last? Are they going to win? I'll take that
game, because you think back to that incredible playoff game, maybe the best playoff game I've ever seen a couple of years ago, when it was just those guys were driving the field in 30 seconds or less.
If it gets to an over, it's because the fourth quarter gets loose.
Yeah. And like to your guys' point, it's just crazy that in this little rivalry, if you can even call it that, between the Bills and Chiefs, this is more of a defensive matchup than we've ever seen between these two.
Oh, no, it's a rivalry. I mean, they've played 6 times in the last 4 years, I believe. If you include the playoffs, they've played every year in the regular season and twice in the playoffs. I think this is their sixth or seventh meeting in the last 4 years. I think it's their 7th, because this will be the 3rd time in the playoffs. And since they both keep winning the division, they both keep seeing each other. I mean, this is very small scale. They'd only have to do it for about another 8 to 10 years. But this is, Colts Patriots. I mean,
Mahomes even said so. He alluded to it that it's.
Yeah, I mean, without saying this is Brady and Manning, I mean, this is the AFC's Colts Patriots, Brady and Manning.
But can the Bills get over that hump?
Well, remember, the Colts lost twice in the playoffs in New England in 03 and 04, and it wasn't until they got them at their place in an AFC title game in the 06 season that the Colts rallied from a 21-3 deficit and beat the Patriots. This is the Bills' turn now. 3rd time's the charm in the playoffs. Where do they get them? They get them at home.
Banged up, though.
But they've put 6 wins together with this defense banged up, although they had 4 starters get hurt against the Steelers, and that game was only played 4 days ago. Now, obviously, those guys will do everything possible to play and all that, but they, still without Milano and White, and now you got 4 starters that are, at the very least, nicked, whereas the Chiefs were done playing 11 o'clock Saturday night. And the Bills were done playing 8 o'clock Monday night. That's 45 hours. Will that play a role at all in this game?
Bills getting the home field advantage for the first time against the Chiefs. Mahomes playing his first road playoff game. Stunning.
Each of the last 4 years, a road team has won in the divisional round. 3 of the 4 years, it's only been one road team. 2 years ago, the road teams went 3-1, came oh so close to going 4-0. The Bills, the 13-2 game, were the only road team to lose. How did the road teams do this weekend? The Diamond District bonus hour is next.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
When choosing something of high value and personal significance, such as a diamond, you want to shop with the best, and the mall is not the place to be. Here are my friends, Jason and Todd with the Diamond District.
Take a stroll in the mall, pop into a few jewelry stores, and you'll soon discover you're in the wrong place. Rings begin to look all alike. You're not finding GIA certified diamonds. You quickly realize you know more than a salesperson helping you, and all the same financing gets pushed on you.
Visit Jason and me, and you'll find America's top bridal designers dealing exclusively with the Diamond District. You'll find the largest selection of GIA certified diamonds, all priced 8 to 10% over cost. You'll find educated sales consultants who have many years' experience and are not paid commissions.
And you'll find Todd and me in the store nearly every day, wanting to shake your hand and welcome you to our Diamond District family.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network. Wow, that's kind of cool.
Picks are on the website. If you're just joining us, go check them out. Four winners and one against the spread. Adam, you're really not a fan of the Bills, are you?
Adam's not a fan of anybody right now. He has hatred in his heart.
That's
all
fair.
he is.
He's a
That's
hurting
fair.
Jags fan.
We've all been there. That is fair.
Everyone sucks.
105.9, I think, is what it is.
The bonus hour. Here we go.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
It is the Diamond District bonus hour on this Football Friday.
Football Friday.
Don't have many of these suckers left. 7 games left, 4 of them this weekend. Make your plans accordingly. Miller and Moulton, the Florida Sports Network. Florida Sports Network, 6 to 9 weekdays. This hour is for our loyal 239 audience, thanks to Todd and Jason and the good folks at the Diamond District. And, well, they're gearing up.
Big wedding band weekend. You might have popped the question over the holidays. Now it's time to get the band, so head to the Diamond District this weekend. Just do it before the football games start. That's all. You got Saturday morning. You got a little time on Sunday before the game starts at 3.
10 to 3 on Saturday, baby. That is get things done time. Roads are packed. When I was starting out in sports radio, Mark, we couldn't get anybody to listen to our station in Fargo. The only time they listened on the weekends. They were running errands. We found out that literally we established the station and the show. We went backwards. We established Saturday, Sunday, and then actually got people to, well, why don't I keep listening on Monday? Maybe I'll keep listening on Tuesday. But on the weekends, for whatever reason, we get people to listen. It was strange. But that's why, I'm a big fan of the 10 a.m. Saturday show on a local station. Always was. I'm like, you have no idea how many people are on the roads. You and I did play-by-play. All the FGCU games when FGCU was just starting out and they were D2 and they were making the transition to D1, and we did a lot more games on the radio. Hell, they haven't been on the radio in forever. But the feedback I would get from a Saturday afternoon doubleheader. I remember they were in Jacksonville for a double dip. Women first, then the men. Women won on a 3 with a second to go by freshman Kelsey Jacobson. I got feedback for weeks about, I was driving around Saturday, listening to the game. Sounded good. Hey, FGCU. I haven't gotten
Remember
any of their
them?
games yet. Yeah, remember them? FGCU. Women have won 7 in a row, by the way. They're going to do what they normally do. It's conference play, so
They don't lose conference games.
I will say, though, tomorrow, battle for first on the women's side. FGCU and Kennesaw are both unbeaten, and they play tomorrow at Alico. And the men host Stetson. And Stetson's good. And Brett Comer's an assistant, so you can go say hi to Brett. Go, man, I miss you.
Boy, do they ever. Do they ever.
I could see a day where maybe he's back in a different role. Just saying. Not saying next year, but I'm saying I could see a day.
I'd just like to see a day where they are consistently winning games again.
So would they.
Doesn't matter to me who's coaching them to do it. Just consistently win some games.
They put that
monumental win against FAU.
Yeah.
Put together.
It pushed them along. It led to a 4-game winning streak. Unfortunately, now 3-game losing streak, all in conference play. And this is big. This is big. And they'll be underdogs tomorrow at home, I'm pretty sure. I haven't looked. I don't know if a line's out yet. They usually wait less than 24 hours in advance is when they start posting lines on college basketball games. But they'll be an underdog tomorrow, I think. I mean, Stetson won at UCF, for goodness sake. I mean, Stetson can play a little bit. So, big double dip tomorrow.
Is this the men's biggest rival in conference? Stetson was the women's forever. Is it the men's biggest rival?
Mark,
Do they have a biggest rival?
Well, it was always Stetson just because of geography. Now once they got good, for 3 years there, it was Mercer.
Right.
When they were the top 2 teams in the conference. We were there in 2012 when FGCU upset Mercer on their home floor in the ASUN tournament. Then they were the top 2 seeds each of the next 2 years. The 2 seed upset the 1 seed. FGCU did it first, then Mercer returned the favor. They won on each other's home floor. That's a rival. You think about it, they played 3 years in a row in the ASUN playoffs. The road team won all 3 years. That's a rivalry.
And the women had one with Stetson because Stetson was the only team that could give them a game for the longest time.
Right. And then Jacksonville for a couple years because Jacksonville came here and actually beat FGCU in a women's final. Yeah. But for about 6 years now, there really hasn't been a rival in the ASUN. I mean, they've just, Carl Semesco's just steamrolled the league. Liberty gave it their best shot. They dominated the conference they were in until they came to the ASUN.
And they dominated every sport they were in when they were in the ASUN, with the exception of women's basketball.
Yep. And he kept putting one better team after another onto the floor, and FGCU just kept beating them. And he beat them by 22. That coach was like, where are we going next? Sun Belt Conference USA, get us the hell out of here. Golly. And you're right, Mark. I mean, hell, they're going damn near undefeated in football. Could they beat FGCU in women's basketball? Nope. Nope. So anyway, it should be a good day of basketball tomorrow. The problem is it's going up against the NFL. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I don't know when they're playing these games, but I'd move it up.
Yeah, the college basketball weekday regular season has started for me, David. The weekend, you better be playing at noon for me to pay attention.
Like the men's game's at 7 tomorrow.
Right.
That's, usually that means the women then will be at 4. Let me check that out. Yeah, 4 o'clock. Well, I mean, it is the Ravens and the Texans. But anyway,
I got you, but it's tough to take on the behemoth. And they have no real choice.
But remember, they sold out the FAU game, and that was on a Saturday night going up against a Cowboys
and Lions.
Right. So, and they sold out FAU. So, I mean, it's two very different audiences. I mean, the college basketball fan, like Trent, when Trent's into a college hoops game, he'll watch it above all else except, his, big 3 Detroit teams. Otherwise, he'll, watch the college hoops game.
And that is the college basketball fan. They are loyal to their sport. You are right there.
And the FGC women's fan is incredibly loyal. They'll watch FGC women over all else. The question is at 7 o'clock tomorrow night. Because the women will show up for the women's game and they'll leave. I mean, there's an hour in between games. Hell, they'll go get dinner, go home, watch the playoffs.
So a double dip tomorrow at Alico for some college hoop.
Women at 4, men at 7. First place showdown on the women's side, and then FGCU Stetson at 7 on the men's side. Key game for the men. Can't emphasize it enough.
Miller and Moulton agreeing on 3 of the 4 games. David taking all 4 home teams, Baltimore, San Francisco, Detroit, and Buffalo. I am taking 1 road team. That is the Kansas City Chiefs. I was chalk all week, and I just think 1 road team will win. Hopefully I picked the right one.
Were you thinking that before I threw the stat out about how it's been 4 years in a row that a road team wins at least 1 game this round?
I wasn't sure, but I was pretty certain that we had gone through this and that there was always 1 team that wins. Because we've been pretty good studying the history of these games and pointing out that home teams just don't win all the playoff games. So I was aware of the records, but I didn't really dig down and research them.
Last year, the road team was the Bengals in Buffalo.
Did you consider just taking all 4 home teams?
Oh, that's how I was really until yesterday.
Even though thinking that a road team might win, but just picking all 4 home, that way you cover your own.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It's exactly what I was going to do.
But, Mark, I think if you're going to pick a home team or a road team, I think 90% of the country agrees with you in Kansas City. If it's going to be one, it's going to be the Chiefs.
Of course.
But you got to play the games.
I mean, if not now for Buffalo, when? I mean, you could argue this is the weakest Chiefs team of the last 6. It's certainly the weakest offensive team. It is the best defensive team, though. So does that mean they're actually better equipped for the playoffs than some of the past Chiefs teams? But also, you get them at home. Come on now. But lost to Burrow and the boys last year in the divisional round at home. This nice Bills run here. They've only gotten to the AFC Championship game once.
How many yards does Pacheco need to rush for you to say the Chiefs win?
75.
Because this game, the Bills are going to want to run it.
Maybe even 80.
But you want to talk about a boogeyman for a team, that's Pat Mahomes for the Bills. He could just turn it on, be Superman all day, out Superman Josh Allen. I'm excited for this game. Super excited. Everyone should be. That's an understatement. But I don't even know if Pacheco has to do a whole lot, to be honest with you, because it's the playoffs. Mahomes flips that switch, and all of a sudden...
Can Josh Allen play a clean game?
I don't think so. And that's what scares me for the Bills.
Oh, he can play a clean game.
Well, he can, but will he? I don't think so against this defense.
Buffalo won't be able to handle this if they lose.
No, they will not. No, they will not.
They're feeling themselves. Everyone pronounced them dead. Then they storm back. They win the AFC East. They get the Chiefs at home. This is their moment. It has to be their moment.
It does. Everything you just said is right from Buffalo's standpoint. Can they do it?
And if not, when?
I love your point too, David. Is Cook going to be the X factor for Buffalo running the football?
They've never had a tailback in the battles with Kansas City before. They've had Josh Allen. They've had receivers. They've never had a running game. They do now.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
When choosing something of high value and personal significance, such as a diamond, you want to shop with the best. And the mall is not the place to be. Here are my friends, Jason and Todd with the Diamond District.
Take a stroll in the mall, pop into a few jewelry stores, and you'll soon discover you're in the wrong place. Rings begin to look all alike. You're not finding GIA certified diamonds. You quickly realize you know more than a salesperson helping you, and all the same financing gets pushed on you.
Visit Jason and me, and you'll find America's top bridal designers dealing exclusively with the Diamond District. You'll find the largest selection of GIA certified diamonds, all priced 8 to 10% over cost. You'll find educated sales consultants who have many years' experience and are not paid commissions.
And you'll find Todd and me in the store nearly every day, wanting to shake your hand and welcome you to our Diamond District family.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network. So the Alabama quarterback, David, I don't know if you saw this already, but the top-ranked quarterback in the class of 2024 that enrolled school early, he's going in the portal.
Mm-hmm.
Where's he going to end up?
Well, I don't blame him because they got Milrow there, and then the kid
came with him.
His equivalent at Washington just transferred and came to Alabama. So
I don't know, but if I was Florida, I'd be begging.
Well, they got the now.
Yeah, I know they got the guy too.
The Rashada kid. Mert's coming back for another year on Rashada.
You're right. That's my
Well,
bad.
you guys better make yourselves clear on this because we all know you're Gator haters. That was so funny. Oh. Come on, Billy. Richard.
10 years ago today.
Really? Wow, 10 years.
What was that?
Richard Sherman's
Seattle beat San Francisco, and Richard Sherman gives the
to Aaron Andrews.
The game.
Yep.
He was so cool. I was like 13 years old, 14 years old when that happened. I remember everyone in middle school just loved Richard Sherman. He was so cool. Talked all the smack, backed it up. LOB. Cam Chancellor was a beast. Those teams are fun to watch.
Yeah, you're right, Gator Dad. DJ Lagway. Rashada was last year's guy that's at Arizona State.
Oh, my bad.
And now Richard Sherman does TV with Skip Bayless. Was Keyshawn Johnson the number one for the Bucs when they won their Super Bowl?
Yes.
Okay. Is he in the Ring of Honor? He was only there a couple years, right?
No. No.
How many guys from their last Super Bowl will end up in there? Mike Evans, obviously. Tom Brady, obviously.
Gronk.
Gronk.
I don't know if Gronk. Oh, you mean the Ring of Honor?
Yes.
Levante David.
Vita Vea. Maybe.
Boy, that's an interesting one.
Winfield, maybe.
No, come on. We got a ways to go here.
Oh, I know. I'm just thinking.
Plus, they have to stay with the team.
Luke Donald made a hole in one. And he says it basically wasn't on camera. And then asked how many in tournaments and regular play. I've had 3 in tournaments, and I think that number was 19 total. So I've been pretty fortunate with holes in one. So sorry for anyone out there who's never had one. I've obviously taken them. 19.
How many would he trade for a major?
19.
Yep.
Although they're bringing him back as Ryder Cup captain.
Your guys' shows during the Ryder Cup were so funny. Mark's just beside himself.
I just kept asking, Mark, where's the Ryder Cup being held? Yeah, I'm taking Europe.
That was before I really knew your guys' shtick, and I was just trying to listen to the show to familiarize myself. Oh, that was so funny. David keeps asking the question. All right, here we go.
Welcome to the bonus hour, brought to you by Jason and Todd at the Diamond District. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Good, bad, and ugly. What's on tap today was the day when. Some final thoughts and a pick or two coming up in a little more than 15 minutes' time. The Diamond District bonus hour on this Football Friday.
Football Friday.
7 games left. 4 of them are this weekend. All right. Everyone else takes a back seat. Even your kids. Okay. The activities and what have you. Listen, there'll be so many more games. Okay. Enough of this. All right, find somebody else. Have some parents. You've been doing all the carpooling. Have somebody else chip in occasionally. Throw some money in here. Take him to dinner on me. I got to watch some football.
And we don't even get started. Houston, Baltimore starts at what?
4:30. So, come on.
You've got all day Saturday.
Yeah.
You got most of the day Sunday because Lions Bucks kick off at 3.
Besides, it's Houston, Baltimore. How many are really emotionally attached to that at all? You could pick that up at halftime, probably. So, you could devote Saturday to friends and family for a good chunk. No, you may just have to figure out, make it happen night, though. I don't know.
Move it up a day.
Yeah.
Get some tonight.
Yeah. All right. Scale of 1 to 10. 10 is they're absolutely going to win. 1 is, you got to be kidding me. They're not going to win. Bucks shot in Detroit Sunday.
4.
All right. I don't disagree. Let's look at the Bucks. Pat Kirwan's big into the last 4 weeks. Because you can look at Tampa and go, they're 2-5 against playoff teams. That's not very good. Yeah, in the last 5 weeks, though, they're 2-0. They won at Green Bay. I'm pretty sure it's the last time Green Bay lost. And they were impressive, in fact, winning at Green Bay. Scored
Baker
34
Mayfield had the first ever perfect quarterback rating for a road quarterback at Lambeau.
Then, yeah, granted, this team was struggling and what have you, but they absolutely whooped Jacksonville. Whooped them. And then they just beat the Eagles. Now, in between, Baker was hurt. They struggled offensively. 13 points against the Saints, 9 against Carolina. I mean, they were struggling. Remember, they won the South, and Tristan Wirfs went, hey, guys, we've let the defense down. We need to show up next week. So, Mark, this Tampa Bay team's also, they were 4-7. They're not 10-8. Do the math.
And David, I just have the last 3 game stats in front of me, not the last 4, because that's just where I pull these rankings from. But in the last 3 games, just in opponent yards per game. You know who the best team in the league is in that stat? It's Tampa Bay. You know where Detroit is in that stat? 3rd from the bottom. Only Philadelphia and Miami have been worse the last 3 weeks defensively.
So
we've just put Trent in the fetal position, by the way. Other than that, the confidence just oozed out of his body right there.
Not really. Not really at all. I hate to break it to you.
So are the Bucs a little bit more of a live play late afternoon Sunday than maybe most believe? I think they're not better at the point of attack. And I think they have to do something that they certainly didn't do the first time these two teams played, because Detroit absolutely controlled that game in Tampa. The game wasn't even as close as the final score. The final score was, I think, at least a 2-touchdown win.
It was 20-6. And the Lions didn't have Jahmyr Gibbs in that game. David Montgomery went out in the second quarter. Goff threw for 350-plus yards. 100-plus of those were to St. Brown, just to put it in perspective.
Yeah, what do you have, 12 catches? Something like that?
Yep, 12 catches for 124 yards and a touchdown.
So
I won that week in fantasy then.
Same.
I'm just
Yes.
telling you I won. I know no one cares.
So Tampa has to do something to Detroit that they certainly didn't do the first time around, even though they, quote, held them to 20 points. Detroit went on long drives in that game, just kept the ball, toyed with Tampa for large parts of that game. Mark, to me, Tampa has to do like what the Rams did in the second half, where all of a sudden, Detroit pretty much did what they wanted in the first half against the Rams. They left points on the board, in fact, at the end of the first half. They scored 3 touchdowns and left points on the board on the fourth and final time they had the ball in the first half. Second half, they didn't run the ball. They scored only 3 points. They were fortunate to get out of there with a win. Rams' struggles in the red zone kept them from winning that game. You take a look at total yards. The Rams had almost 100 more yards than the Lions did in that game. The Detroit punter pinning them deep and making them go very long fields paid dividends because the Lions' defense bent but didn't break.
That's what it is, David. The whole secondary's bend but don't break. They have some players back there who make plays occasionally. They let up a lot of yards, but when it's the red zone, it's time to lock it down. They're not that bad.
And believe it or not, that punter's great.
Jack Fox, I think he's the highest paid punter in the league, or he was when they gave him the extension last year.
And the Bucs have struggled in the red zone. And could it be a second week in a row in which a team moves the ball effectively on the Lions, but unable to score touchdowns? And that's why Detroit wins.
Thought Pat had an interesting point when we had Pat Kirwan on earlier, that will they target Evans a bunch? Will they target him deep? And can a couple of big catches by Evans be the difference that swings the game into Tampa's favor? Because Detroit's vulnerable in the back end. If there's anywhere you get them, it's with that weak secondary.
But and I agree, they've won in spite of that, though. Justin Jefferson went off both games against the Lions. Lions held on. CeeDee Lamb went way off against the Lions, and the Lions.
But held him to
arguably-
20. So
Yeah.
it's back to the bend but don't break.
It's a weird thing going on. But Mark, I agree. It's like if these were, I mean, Puka Nacua got his last week,
But they didn't get into the end zone.
right?
I mean, Lamb didn't really get into the end zone because they didn't score a lot of points. They held them to a lot of field goals. If I were to tell you right now that Evans had 10 catches for 120, but no touchdowns, I think you'd go, okay, fine. Give me those same stat lines and it's 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, in trouble.
Then it changes the dynamic of the game completely.
I don't expect the Bucs to have a lot of success running the ball. Tampa Bay with the second fewest first downs in the league running the ball. They ran it a smidge against Philly, as my mom likes to say. A smidge.
Little anecdote too. Aleem McNeil for the Lions. He's the highest rated interior D lineman left in the playoffs per Pro Football Focus, for what it's worth.
Okay, I will say you quote Pro Football Focus a lot. Did you see how Pro Football Focus rated CJ Stroud's performance last week?
No, what'd they say?
It was okay.
Yeah, I mean, look.
Okay,
Pro
you can
Football
take Pro Football Focus is analytics on steroids.
Yep.
Okay,
Some of it's great, some of it's terrible.
But there aren't a lot of places. I will say this: there aren't a lot of places where we have lineman statistics. Quarterback. There's a million different ways to analyze quarterbacks. We've got the QBR, we got quarterback rating, you got Pro Football Focus, you've got an eye test. It's tough for a lot of us to sit there and go, "How did that tackle play?"
I will say, if you want to have a good point counterpoint, Pro Football Focus, J.J. Watt. J.J. Watt has made it his mission in the last week and a half to systematically destroy Pro Football Focus. So it's very interesting. One guy, Pro Football Focus, which Collinsworth is part owner of. So basically, that's NBC versus CBS right there. I do expect J.J. Watt to become a much bigger part of CBS's NFL coverage also. I think there'll be a major shakeup with CBS. I think you're going to see a lot more Nate Burleson and J.J. Watt going forward. Miller and Moulton. Good, bad, and ugly. What's on tap? Today was the day when. All coming up.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
When choosing something of high value and personal significance, such as a diamond, you want to shop with the best, and the mall is not the place to be. Here are my friends, Jason and Todd with the Diamond District.
Take a stroll in the mall, pop into a few jewelry stores, and you'll soon discover you're in the wrong place. Rings begin to look all alike. You're not finding GIA certified diamonds. You quickly realize you know more than a salesperson helping you, and all the same financing gets pushed on you.
Visit Jason and me, and you'll find America's top bridal designers dealing exclusively with the Diamond District. You'll find the largest selection of GIA certified diamonds, all priced 8 to 10% over cost. You'll find educated sales consultants who have many years' experience and are not paid commissions.
And you'll find Todd and me in the store nearly every day, wanting to shake your hand and welcome you to our Diamond District family.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Diaby and Clancy are coming along. I agree with that.
So, David, the curling bug has hit my daughter. I have a little portable curling game.
Okay.
That I bought. I don't know. It's maybe 6 foot long, but it looks like a sheet of ice, little vinyl thing. It's been out for daughter. Can we play curling?
Wow.
Number one game in the house right now.
I love it. Have you ever gone to the swamp buggy races, by the way?
Yes.
Do you recommend it?
It's fun to see once. It's people watching. It's like going to the fair. You know what I mean? It's an experience. Who was asking?
No, I was.
It's something.
Here we go.
Welcome to the bonus hour, brought to you by Jason and Todd at the Diamond District. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes before the hour is up, 16 until our time is up. Miller and Moulton on this Football Friday.
Football Friday.
4:30 and 8 o'clock Saturday, although I have a feeling 8 o'clock will be more like 8:15. And then 3 o'clock and 6:30 on Sunday. Those are the start times. Make your plans accordingly. We got 7 more of these suckers. 4 of them are this weekend.
Hey, I'm just curious because there's no late flight from Baltimore to Jet. I mean, you're not getting out same night, are you?
And actually, right now, apparently it's snowing 6 inches in Baltimore today. So I'll be curious if I get into Baltimore today. But no. So we're going to head back to the hotel, and I'm going to spend as much money on Disney's dime as I can.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Celebrate that last game of the year.
Damn right.
Moulton may get drunk. I don't know if the last time I saw that might have been in Miami at the Super Bowl. Because you have a beer. I mean, you have a beer, but very rarely do you get yourself inebriated.
Trent, for the record, here's the deal. If I get to drink number 3, then we are going to town.
That's the threshold.
Yeah, and that's it.
I'm a 2-beer guy. All
If
right?
he gets to 3, there's a good chance he gets to 12.
Look
Right.
out.
If I get to 3, then
The dam breaks.
game's on. Exactly.
So you're going +3.
I don't know about that. I may just buy some
2.5.
really expensive food.
I will take the over 2.5, Mark.
I am too.
I don't drink much anymore at all.
I know.
Well, that's fine, but you deserve this.
Well, it has nothing to do with deserving. It has to do with wanting.
Celebrate. Dance to
Well,
the
you
music.
got to remember, I like my food. I mean, to me, celebrating would be like, 2 nice beers and, I'm ordering steak and lobster. Who's paying for this? Iger? Bob Iger's paying for
and a
this?
couple of appetizers.
Right.
There was
like
nothing better than when I worked in minor league hockey, and every once in a while, the team owner or the GM would buy dinner for the team. And you'd watch these players ordering, what's the most expensive thing on the menu, and can I get an appetizer? And we're ordering dessert.
Bob Iger's paying for this? I want 2 shrimp cocktails, and let's talk surf and turf.
It's time for someone to take back this segment, if for no other reason than to stop David from talking about Meghan and Harry. Here's Mark Miller with Today Was the Day When.
55, the first presidential news conference was filmed for TV for President Eisenhower. 1961, first episode of the Dick Van Dyke Show is filmed. 74, Notre Dame ends UCLA's 88-game win streak, 71-70.
And UCLA had like a 11-point lead mid-second half. Remember, no shot clock? I mean, it was a very strange upset, if you know what I mean. Happened
They
very
choked.
late.
The guard for UCLA got hurt who handled the ball, and they choked down the stretch. It really bothered Bill Walton. When you watch that 30 for 30, that one pains him.
Mm-hmm. Made Digger Phelps' career.
Today in 1977, for the only time in recorded history, it snowed in Miami.
When was this?
77.
Huh.
Born in the USA by Bruce Springsteen peaks at number 5 on the charts today in 85.
God forbid he ever be number 1.
Michael Jordan becomes part owner of the Wizards today in 2000. Today in 2002 was the Tuck Rule game.
Oh, my goodness. There are people in my life that if you bring that up, to this day, they get violent.
Really?
Oh, my goodness. Yes. I've got a couple Raiders fans in my life. It is a very sore subject. It's remarkable what happened after that. That was Gruden's last game with the Raiders. Bucks acquired him afterwards. They might have won the damn Super Bowl that year, or at least gone to it. If they win that game, do you think the Bucks are able to get Gruden away from Al Davis? Because they would have then played the Steelers, by the way. Raiders Steelers in an AFC championship game. Those of us of a certain era would have been like, oh my goodness, is this amazing? But I think the Raiders then would have gone to Pittsburgh, played the Steelers, was not a great Steelers team. Offensively, they were challenged. Terrific defense, Bettis running the ball, the whole deal, but we all know they were beatable. I mean, that game changed history, not only began the dynasty, but Mark, I don't know if the Bucks get their hands on Gruden if the Raiders win that game.
The very next year in 2003, Oakland would beat Tennessee in the AFC Championship 41-24, and the Bucks would beat the Eagles 27-10.
Rondé Barber. Pick 6.
Today in 2013, Lance Armstrong admits to doping. 2014, the Broncos beat New England 26-16, and Seattle beat San Francisco 23-17. Providing us with one of the great post-game interviews that ever happened.
Oh, that was Aaron Andrews, Richard Sherman.
Yep. And in 2020, Kansas City beat Tennessee, and San Francisco thumped Green Bay on Championship Sunday. Robert E. Lee, Edgar Allan Poe, Janis Joplin, Dan Reeves, Robert Palmer, Junior Seau, and rapper Mac Miller, all born today.
Wow, it's a big day.
Dolly Parton, 78. Paula Dean, 77. Quarterback Steve DeBerg is 70. Stefan Edberg's 58. Frank Caliendo's 50. And Tommy Fleetwood's 33. What did I miss, David?
Frank Caliendo's only 50? He's been around a long time. A few things. Lucille Ball gave birth on television today in 53. Yeah, that was a BFD, okay? I mean, they didn't even sleep in the same bed. We hadn't heard a toilet flush yet.
We wouldn't hear a toilet flush till the 70s.
Right. And she's what, pregnant? Having kids? That doesn't happen in real life. First McDonald's drive-thru in Beijing today. 17 years ago. So they were a little behind the times on that. Koufax, youngest player ever elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame today in 72. And we don't go politics very often on this show. But 20 years ago was it was the end of a presidential campaign. Howard Dean unleashed the scream. After finishing, I think, third in Iowa.
Right.
Yep. And went So, amuse yourself if you don't know what we're talking about. Just Google Howard Dean scream. And you got to give it about 45 seconds, though, because he winds himself up. Okay? It takes a while. It's worth it. Trust us.
You've heard folks elsewhere mock Florida is gonna Florida. Well, Mark Miller sees it differently. He calls it the good, the bad, and the ugly. What you got, Mark?
We go to Long Island, where Devin and Dylan Lee are twins. And they are ending their high school careers as valedictorian and salutatorian of their graduating class. One's going to Yale. One's going to Cornell. Their sister was last year's valedictorian. So obviously it's a pretty smart family. How about that? You're the salutatorian and you finished third in your family.
Right. Just tough to sit at the adult table in that family.
We know who gets seat 5.
Right.
For the bad, we go to Naples, where Matthew Solomon was arrested after going all golf club on a van.
Oh, I can relate.
I know you can. That's why I brought it up. He came home to find a van in his resident parking spot. He was mad that the van was in his spot and there weren't any guest spots available. So he grabbed a golf club and went to work on the van, riddling it with dents, causing approximately $3,000 worth of damage. He turned himself into police and is facing a criminal mischief charge of over $100,000.
Now, listen, if this is a repeated thing, I can understand it. But is this like one time? Hey, come on. Hey, just leave the note and just say, hey, you can't park here. Come on now.
That's all well and good, but trust me, if I saw the guy get out of the car with a golf club and start hitting the van, all I'm doing is grabbing the phone and filming and providing great play-by-play.
I was very lucky back in 97 when I stopped at the traffic light and took my 2-iron and took it out on the guy in front of me at the light and his car that we weren't able to record via phone yet.
There's no doubt.
I was on TV too, locally. I mean, people actually knew who I was and everything, and I still tore up this guy's hood.
Finally, the ugly. We'll stick in Naples, where police were called to Naples Pier on Wednesday. A man had driven past a woman walking near the pier twice. On the third time that he drove past her, he exposed himself and made an inappropriate proposition. He then left, but was arrested quickly by Naples police. And that is the good, the bad, and the ugly on today, January the 19th, 2024.
7 games in the NBA tonight. There were supposed to be 8, but Golden State's still mourning the death of their assistant coach. And so the Dallas Golden State game is postponed. The TNT double dip, 7:30, 10 o'clock, or actually 7:30, 10:30. Denver, Boston early. And Brooklyn Lakers late. Orlando's home for Philly. Philly's a 5.5-point favorite. And the Heat are home for the Hawks, and the Heat are a 6.5-point favorite.
Panthers hosting the Wild tonight in the National Hockey League. The Wild played last night in Tampa. We'll see if Florida can rebound. They've struggled the last couple of games here. They have a pretty big odds advantage. -190 tonight are the Panthers.
Trent, you and your Big Ten basketball, would you lay the 11.5 with Wisconsin tonight at home against Indiana? It's on FS1, by the way, at 8:30.
I would, although it pains me to say that because for all the Big Ten teams out there, I love Mike Woodson, and I just root for Indiana because of Mike Woodson sometimes. But yes, I would lay the 11.5.
Mark's Colorado State Rams, and I say that because his wife's an alum, so he's has to keep up to date on everything Colorado State. They were ranked until last week.
UNLV's got some pretty good wins this year.
They're home 10:30 on FS1. So it's the FS1 college basketball doubleheader, 8:30, 10:30. They're hosting UNLV. Remember when they used to play basketball at UNLV?
UNLV's got like 3 good wins this year. This is a big game for UNLV. This could lead them to a tournament bid if they were to win it.
So FGCU double dip tomorrow, women at 4. It's actually a first place showdown. They and Kennesaw State are the only 2 unbeatens in the A-Sun, and they're playing at 4 o'clock tomorrow at Alico, where the women have won like 25 straight or something like that. And the men host Stetson tomorrow night, 7 o'clock. I don't think there's a line on that game yet. Stetson should be favored. I would guess around 3.5.
Tomorrow, 7 ranked teams in college hoop. I'm sorry, 8 ranked teams in college hoop on the road against unranked teams.
Well, there you go.
That's at least 3 losers. The way things have gone this year.
And you've got 1 and 2, and I think 1, 2, and 3 all on the road.
Who's Purdue playing?
Iowa.
Ooh, that's a tough barn. Tough place to play.
It is.
Get the boys going, Fran. Let the threes fly.
He just became the all-time winningest coach in Iowa history, didn't he? The other night?
Yep.
McCaffrey?
Never made the Sweet 16.
For wins at Iowa. Yeah. Yeah, him and Rick Barnes both. And of course, Matt Painter and Purdue have to make a Final Four.
We'll see. Don't know if there's anything great in college hoop this year. A lot of really good.
It looks wide open.
It does.
Which is always fun. We'll circle back in March.
Not only that, big names too. Kentucky looks back. Carolina's top 5. UConn to repeat. I mean, it really will be a terrific madness. Enjoy the NFL playoffs. We're back on Monday.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense